Greetings and salutations. Am I live? I'm going to assume I am. So until someone lets me know that I'm live, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to mumble for a little bit. And perhaps something will happen. I know there's a delay on the stream. For some reason, I think YouTube always has a flat 10-second delay no matter what. Just for latency purposes. I'm going to assume I'm live, so let's just go ahead and change the screen with it real quick. What's up, everybody? How's it going? All right, so Sunday, beautiful Sunday. It's hot outside. I want to go in the pool, but eventually that will be done. What's up? All right, perfect. How's everybody doing? Damn, there's a lot of you in here, huh? I haven't done a live stream in so long. I think the last time I did a live stream was like week 17 of last season, and it was a mess because people started completely losing their minds. All right, what's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing well. All right, we're throwing questions already, huh? All right, let's get to it, shall we? Actually, you know what? Before we get to questions, I wanted to ask you guys a question because earlier today I got like a message on Twitter, and the guy was asking me in a non-dynasty league, he had made a trade. He didn't tell me which side of the aisle he was sitting on, but he told me, okay, yeah, this is the trade. It's like half PPR. Who won the trade, right? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip this onto our screen here real quick. And just going to make some adjustments really quickly. I want your guys' opinion on the matter so we can have a little bit of a discourse on it. All right, let's do this, shall we? Okay, so this was the trade that he made. I don't know which side he was on, okay? But this is a non-dynasty league, half PPR. And he was asking me who won this trade. And I looked at it and I thought to myself, okay, whoever's making trades this early, you got to be a little crazy, but so be it. Okay, so I looked at this trade top down, looking at Team A and Team B. I already think like, okay, Julio Jones, James Conner, they're first, second round picks. So these guys are already, and then so is Joe Mixon and Dalvin Cook. So both these teams, they're already ready to swap first and second round picks before the season, before it's even the end of June, for God's sake. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so be it. Let it be this way. And then I look at the remaining, players in this trade. Chris Carson, and then the other team has Allen Robinson, DK Metcalf. Off of just first glance, I think Team A wins. I don't know what you guys think. But yeah, just straight up off of this, I think Team A wins at a pretty good margin. I don't know what Allen Robinson is capable of. I think maybe he's a fringe wide receiver 3-2 if he has a great season, but I don't know. I guess it kind of just matters on what kind of a team you want to build. Obviously, I didn't get any other information on what kind of team he had. Let me go ahead and pull this up, and we'll go back to this full window so I can see your guys' response, because let's do this, and just got to click some buttons real quick. All right, we're back. Okay, so let's scroll back up on this sucker. All right, what are we doing here? Let me know what you guys think. Doesn't recognize video formats? That's extremely interesting. Brandon, I don't know. I've actually never seen that before. Or no one's ever told me that's occurred. First time here. What's up, dude? How you doing? All right, let's see. What are you saying, Big Jim? All right. If I have pick number 3 overall, hold up, stop scrolling. If I have pick number 3 overall, but Barkley, Kamara, Zeke are all keepers, that's unfortunate. Should I take C-Mix? You know what? The gum's got to go because I know someone's going to get pissed about it. Should I take C-Mix-C if he is Melvin Gordon or David Johnson in PPR league, or skip for wide receiver? I mean, you have the number 3 overall pick. There's no way you're getting Christian McCaffrey, Big Jim. I mean, there's no way. He's going number 1, right? I mean, if you're the 3rd overall pick, I'm expecting you to either have the chance at David Johnson, Melvin Gordon, and then Devontae Adams. So yeah, there's no way. Yeah, so should I take? Yeah, no, there's no way you get Christian McCaffrey. So looking at the available options, obviously it depends on what else you have on roster. So what are the other keepers? I'm assuming if there's Melvin Gordon's and David Johnson still available, I mean, those are probably 2 great picks. But if you're playing in a full PPR, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins doesn't look like a like bad picks there. Let's see here. First 4 picks with wide receiver and PPR. I mean, it's a strat. I don't suggest it at sometimes, but hey, if you can rack together a pretty good lineup, it could work. Is video streaming right now? Yes, Brandon, it is. Somebody tell him. Team A, right? Okay, good. All right, we've gotten to this thing. Exactly. I don't know, man. I'm just worried to like respond to the guy and be like, yeah, Team B totally lost. And then he's like, I'm Team B, and then I just crushed his dreams. Like, I don't know if I could do that to someone. Like, I don't know. It hurts a little bit, especially if, I don't know. Maybe next time he should ask me before he does a trade such as that, but I don't know. Adams going to pop off. You know it, man. I'm telling you. Can't guard Oscar. That's absolute fact. Devontae Adams, it's ridiculous. When I was going and breaking down his stats from last season, like there's not a week that he didn't pop off. Like, I don't understand how that's possible. Obviously, when you're associated with Aaron Rodgers, you just happen to just be an animal in fantasy. And on top of the fact that the guy is just cleaning it up in the red zone. Let's see. My keepers are Mahomes. The other keepers are... Wait, hold up. Other keepers... Oh, okay. So other people are keeping Hopkins, AB, Mayfield, and Dak? What the... Okay. Someone wants to keep Dak. So be it. But you're keeping Mahomes. Okay. Yeah, so if it's a full PPR and those guys are available, I don't know. You know, there's a lot of kind of stability with a guy like Devontae Adams at like the number 3 pick in a full PPR. But I don't know, man. I always like getting running backs. I feel like there's so much depth at the wide receiver position. But to be honest, I think at the end of the season, no matter who you pick, whether it's like a Gordon, man, Gordon's injury history, it's a little scary here and there. But whether it's Gordon, David Johnson, or Devontae Adams that kind of falls to you, they're all going to score relatively close to each other. The question is, who's going to miss time with injury? That's probably Melvin Gordon, but he also has the upside of being a complete monster. Let's see here. What else we got? I have Damian Williams or Connor to keep heading into next season full PPR. Oh, my. Whew. That is a fantastic question. No, oh, man. I think I'd rather have Connor, personally, because there's so much of a... I don't know. Here's the thing. Damian Williams, he was fantastic last season. At the end of the 2018 season and in the playoffs, the guy was averaging like 20 fantasy points a game in half-point PPR, imagine. And then he was getting a lot of passing work on top of it. Now, the question is, can you trust a guy like James Conner in an offense that is going to be facilitated around the running game? They've got they have the best offensive line in the NFL. According to Pro Football Focus, last season, 17 weeks, the Pittsburgh Steelers had the best offensive line. So he's going to be behind the best offensive line. The question is whether defenses are going to stack the box because there's no longer an Antonio Brown that they have to worry about. Having to guard Antonio Brown on one side of the field and then Juju on the other, it posed a little bit of a threat to defenses. Now that there's no longer an option there, are they going to stack the box and just clean up Connor? That's my only concern there. But personally, I'd probably just rather have Connor over a Damian Williams because of Frank Gore. I keep saying Frank Gore. I don't know what the fuck it is. Carlos Hyde, for the love of God. I actually don't even want to say Carlos Hyde's name because it'll jinx it and then he'll end up doing something. Anyway, I'd probably take Connor in that, but I don't know. Connor even had some work in the passing game as well. I think now that there's more opportunity for other people to, incorporate themselves in this offense, I mean, Dante Moncrief looks like the wide receiver 2 going into the season, and then Vance McDonald's going to figure it out and hopefully, do something. But as of right now, at this moment in time, I'd probably have Connor over Damian Williams in full PPR for next season. Thoughts on Leonard Fournette? Okay, here's the thing, Benjamin. Leonard Fournette has always had injury history since his last season in college at LSU. He's got that foot problem that doesn't go away. It's a reoccurring thing that every time we have to worry about, right? So his rookie season in the NFL, I think he played 13 games, so he missed 3 games because of that similar injury to his foot. Yet he was still fantastic. Had over 1,000 yards rushing, had over 10 touchdowns. He is the offense of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, my only concern with that is that, okay, Nick Foles comes in, the offense should improve. I don't know. Should it improve? Blake Bortles was absolutely terrible, but can Nick Foles, produce without a, very good team or surrounding him at least? There's a lot of inexperience there. Now, the only concern I have with Leonard Fournette is, can he stay healthy enough to play a full 16-game season? Probably not. So knowing that in advance, you have to go ahead and draft him at a discount. I don't want to go and make Leonard Fournette a dependable part of my team unless I have maybe like a flex or a guy coming off the bench. Like if I draft James White and I can have him on my bench and Fournette gets injured, I can throw him in and get like a solid 12 points. But Leonard Fournette is just it's a little sketchy for me right now. I don't know. He's going to be a solid RB2. He has upside as long as he stays healthy, but that's the question. We don't know until the season starts. The only good thing that has happened this offseason for Fournette, besides the quarterback change and stuff like that, the fact that TJ Yeldon is no longer on the Jaguars, because that guy was cleaning up in the passing game. I know they brought in Alfred Blue from the Texans to kind of pick up that work. Alfred Blue is not going to do anything. Hopefully Fournette gets some work in the passing game. All right, let's move on. Oh, God, it updated really fast. Okay, where are we at here? Can't guard Oscar. What do you think about Foreman? Deonta Foreman? Yeah. I think last season, if we go and look at what he was able to do once he came back from injury, that shouldn't even cross our minds. We should just erase that. There should be like that Men in Black thing where you just click the button, doesn't exist. Because when he came back last season, he was awful. I think he wasn't really given an opportunity to get it going. Then again, Lamar Miller is not as bad as people think. Lamar Miller has been a solid RB2 his entire career. Now, is Deonta Foreman the future of the franchise? I don't know. I mean, he's dealt with that Achilles injury. If he can come back and eventually get some work here and there, he's going to get work, though. Last season, Alfred Blue had 150 rushing attempts on top of Lamar Miller having his, 200 or 190-ish because he missed a couple games. So Alfred Blue had some work. So Deonta Foreman's going to get, a good amount of carries per game, 8 or so plus. Now, if he can deliver with them, sure. I think Deonta Foreman is a guy that you take, in the later rounds, like a 13, 14-round pick, that not only is he a handcuff, he has the opportunity to win the job fairly early, assuming, Lamar Miller continues to be garbage. I just don't know how good Foreman is in the passing game because they've never really kind of worked him in there. Big Jim says, full PPR, 6 point per passing touchdown. Yeah, no, you have to keep Mahomes in 6 point per passing touchdown. Dude throws 40 touchdowns, you're set. Was Am Andrew? Okay. How about Shazam? That was a good movie, by the way. What's up, Alpha Vader? Is Barkley going to feel the David Johnson effect and fall flat? Well, look, the David Johnson effect only fell flat because the dude broke his wrist in week 1 of 2017. He came off that, fantastic record-breaking season, which he almost had, 2,000 all-purpose. Actually, he probably did have 2,000 all-purpose, but he almost broke the 1,000 mark. I think he had 800 receiving yards by the end of that season. So the only reason he'll ever fall flat is if he ends up getting injured and loses or, kind of disappears. Because David Johnson last season, like I've mentioned before in videos, even with the fact that his offensive line was literally the worst in the NFL and Josh Rosen's a garbage can, he still was a top 10 or top 12 running back in fantasy. So imagine if you put in Kyler Murray, you improved the offensive line, you brought in more weapons offensively, the defense continues to improve. The offense is going to shift completely because of Kyle Kingsbury. You're bringing in like a shotgun offense in which you can run a little bit of option here and there. David Johnson, he's going to be good, but will Barkley fall flat? I don't know. I think Barkley, it's almost like he's a machine. As long as he avoids injury, the dude's just going to be an animal. Will he be the number 1 RB by the end of the season? I don't know. There's a chance that Zeke can go up there and snag it from him, assuming Zeke can score some touchdowns, man. All right, let's see what else there is. With a backup Samuel also eating touches. Okay, but here's the thing. When James Conner came back last season, Samuel took touches away because of the fact that James Conner was coming back from missing like a month of the season. So they obviously needed to get him incorporated back into the offense and then not give him the full 30 carry workload. Because last season, the dude had, I think, 5... Let me go ahead and find this. No, that's not... Actually, you know what? Let's do this real quick. Let's move this. Let's move that. Okay. I think James Conner had like 5 or 6 games in which he had over 25 carries. So they broke his body down relatively quickly last season. So he had a game of 31 carries, 21, 19, 24, 24, and then the guy broke down and then eventually was at 13 or 15. Okay, so actually they didn't give him too many touches. But I don't know, man. Jaylen Samuel, I don't think he's going to sit and just eat up touches as much as we anticipate. I think he's just kind of there for backup purposes. But you never know. There's always a chance. I know there's been reports coming out that, they want to use multiple backs. I don't know. Until we get a little bit of the taste of that offense in when training camp really starts, we won't really know. Would you go wide receiver, or running back in the first 2 rounds of a 10-team standard league, depending on where you draft? 100% I'm going running back. If it's a standard league and you don't get a point per reception or half point per reception, you have to go double running back. I think the wide receiver position is pretty much, I wouldn't say irrelevant, because obviously there's the better wide receivers that are catching those touchdowns and have the high touchdown upside. They're going to be relevant, like a Devontae Adams, but they're definitely not going to be even close to the value of one of the top tier 12 running backs. That's why a lot of people play PPR. It's in order to kind of balance everything out, because if you don't have one of those high, or at least if you don't have the first pick, if you don't take a Zeke or one of the 4 horsemen, it's a toss up. But either way, I would definitely suggest going double running back. I mean, if you have the first pick, you take a Saquon or whatever you prefer, and it comes back to you, and the best available guy is double wide receiver or running back wide receiver, go for it. But I don't know. I'd prefer in a standard league to go double RB early. Okay, where are we going here? Calvin Ridley or Mike Williams? Okay, here's the thing though. Okay, Calvin Ridley had 1 game last season in which he scored 3 touchdowns. Now, there's the same thing with Mike Williams. He had 1 game last year where he scored 3 touchdowns. So both these guys have a little bit of an inflated fantasy, finish to their seasons. Okay? Obviously, those 30-point games would have dropped them down. They would have been wide receiver 3s by the end of last season. Now, comparatively to both of them, I think Calvin Ridley is going to get more playtime. I know Mohamed Sanu led all receivers on the Atlanta Falcons last season in snaps. Imagine that. He played more than Julio. So Mohamed Sanu is still going to get his work there, but I think they want to incorporate more and more of Calvin Ridley in this offense. The change to their offensive coordinator, they brought in Dirk Cutter, who was he was the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last season. That offense was moving, right? And because of Dirk Cutter. There's a reason why Ryan Fitzpatrick and Jameis Winston kind of did no wrong in fantasy, and those receivers were just killing teams. Now, whether or not you should trust a guy like Mike Williams, I personally like Mike Williams at his value. I know I'm pretty sure Ridley's going probably a little bit ahead of him, but here's the thing. There's a stat that I saw the other day. I got to find it. Kind of just give you guys, I think I took a screenshot of it. Let me see here. Where are we at? Okay, so here, the Chargers passing offense in the last 3 seasons, okay? So they've been in the top 10 in passing each of the last 3 seasons. They've been in the top 8 in passing touchdowns each of the last 3 seasons. And they've been in the top 7 in net yards gained in the last 3 seasons. The Chargers offense is no joke. I don't know why everybody keeps undervaluing guys like Phillip Rivers. I don't get it. But between the two, I personally would probably... it's a toss-up. I'd probably go with Mike Williams. Only because there are less mouths to feed in that offense. Because of the fact that Mohamed Sanu sits there, that scares the shit out of me. I think Mohamed Sanu could steal snaps, touches, targets, and from what we saw of Austin Hooper last season, the guy had 80 targets, 60 receptions. He was pretty good in the red zone especially too. Had about 4 or 5 touchdowns. So I'd probably go Mike Williams, but I'm a little bit biased. Let's see, top 3 best standard draft players. What the heck does that mean? Top 3 best standard draft players. So as in rank them? Number 1 Zeke, number 2 Barkley, number 3 Kamara? Is that what you mean? No PPR? I don't know. Clarify, Alpha Vader, please. Thank you. All right, AB or Juju? Oh, give me Juju. I don't trust Derek Carr. Don't even get me started with that. Derek Carr's, man. All right, Big G, Jim Jean, let's see. Would you draft 3 running backs to start off a draft and then go wide receiver and get somebody like Alshon or Edelman as your wide receiver 1? Preferably no. I think it just depends. I think if you have 3 solid running backs, you can literally run your league and just destroy people. There's a couple years back in which I drafted, what year was it? I think it was 17, where I don't know what league it was. I somehow managed to get Le'Veon Bell and Melvin Gordon were my first 2 picks, because Melvin Gordon was being undervalued because he didn't have a great season the year prior. And then I got Kareem Hunt in like the 18th round, and I ran the league with 3 running backs. They just completely torched everybody. So if you can get 3 solid running backs that are going to produce on a weekly basis, then sure. But I don't trust a guy like Alshon to be my number 1 wide receiver. Edelman, sure, but you have to understand, he's not going to have anything more than 13 points. So he's truly not going to be your wide receiver 1. You want a guy that's going to score upwards of 14, 15, 16, and then has the upside of that 20-point week, which you probably won't find outside of the first 2 rounds. So to be honest, I don't mind the 3 RB start, but you just have to be careful. You have to hope a guy like Edelman or Golladay is sitting there waiting for you, or maybe Brandon Cooks as your wide receiver 1, because Brandon Cooks, man, he's undervalued too. Calvin Ridley or Alshon Jeffrey full PPR. Give me give me Calvin Ridley. I'm not even kidding. Alshon Jeffrey will not catch more than 60 passes this season. The guy's catch rate is awful. Listen, he's a big receiver, 6'4 plus. He's got a pretty big frame. His entire kind of, appeal is the fact that he's going to go up and chase one-on-one coverage. And then Carson's going to throw it up. He's got to come down with the ball. Unless Alshon Jeffrey scores double-digit touchdowns, the guy's never going to even get close to sniffing top 15 wide receivers. Calvin Ridley, on the other hand, could figure it out in an offense in which they're going to scorch defenses. They play in a division where, I don't know, man. Now that I think about full PPR? Yeah, give me Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley's going to at least catch 80 balls this season. At least. What did he do last year? Let me go and find this. Where's Calvin Ridley on this list? I just got to do some research because I don't know, man. 100% of Alshon Jeffrey is, I'm going to go up. Okay, so Calvin Ridley barely caught 60 passes last season, but he caught those 10 touchdowns. So it really is a matter of touchdown upside. And if that's actually the case, maybe it is Alshon. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's taking me a while. You see how I kind of contradict myself? It's going to happen all the time. I reserve the right to contradict myself. Probably Alshon then. Full PPR scares the shit out of me with Alshon, though. It bothers me. I don't know what it is. All right. Drafted Mahomes 13th round last year. Oh, God. That's ridiculous. Big Jim, that's insane. All right. Let's see. What does it say? If you wait very late in your draft, which tight end outside of the top 12 are you drafting? Jack Doyle, Noah Fant, Mark Andrews, Jordan Reed, Greg Olsen, any of those guys. To be honest, I think Jack Doyle's kind of being undervalued because of the fact that Eric Ebron had such a good season last year. But if you go look at the games in which Jack Doyle produced, he was pretty decent fantasy-wise. And then a lot of people are sleeping on these, these tight ends on lesser teams. I don't know. I think Mark Andrews, there's so many tight ends there. It could be a sketchy pickup, but he's obviously kind of popped off when it comes to being one of Lamar Jackson's favorite targets. I mean, there really isn't many targets there for him to go after, but he's looked decent at times. Jordan Reed, he's got the injury history. But hey, maybe if you put Dwayne Haskins in that offense and he prefers to kind of find the big man, considering there really isn't any other wide receivers there. Looking at the wide receiver core of the Redskins, what do we have? To be honest, Paul Richardson? I don't know. Because I know Ryan Grant left. I think he went to the Raiders, so there really isn't much there. Maybe he ends up being a decent target. But then there's Vernon Davis fucking around and taking targets away. Biggest sleepers? Okay. I can't just start rattling off names. Oh, gosh. Oh, man. Biggest sleepers? I don't know. To be honest, let me think. I have a whiteboard to the right of me with a lot of shit on it. Ronald Jones. What else? Josh Allen. I'm just rattling names, by the way. Let's see here. Any other names that are kind of popping out to me? Royce Freeman, maybe, if Philip Lindsay wants to fuck around and get hurt again. Would you ever trust Freeman or trade him for someone in PPR Dynasty? I'm assuming that's Devontae Freeman, can't guard Oscar. Would you trust him? Yeah, why not? I think, obviously, inherent injury risk, almost every running back has it, right? If you play in the NFL and you've played for more than 5 years in the league, or if you're Leonard Fournette, you have injury history that's going to follow you for a while, right? And that kind of inherent risk obviously scares people. Would you trade him for a guy like Kenyon Drake in a PPR dynasty? Ooh, that is a fucking great question. Somebody answer that question for me, because I'm going to tell you the reasons why to do it, and then I'm going to contradict myself 2 seconds later. To be honest, as of right now, I'd rather have Devontae Freeman. I understand he's had the injury history in the past. I understand he's way older than Kenyon Drake, but offensively, I don't know what to expect from the Miami Dolphins. Obviously, Drake didn't get a fair share of the cut last season, with actually Frank Gore stealing all of his carries and Adam Gase completely ruining that offense. But as of right now, considering where Devontae Freeman kind of stands within the Falcons offense, the guy is going to get a bunch of touches. And on top of that, Devontae Freeman, I think in 2015 was the number one RB in fantasy. He's a couple years removed because of those injuries, but now that there's no more Tevin Coleman, man, I don't think there's anybody stopping. I know there's Ito Smith sitting behind him, but he's not going to really do too much. He can't even work in the passing game very often. He's like a goal line back for all we know. That's where they used him last year. That's all we've kind of seen from him. All right, what do you think is the most overhyped player right now? I'd say Patrick Mahomes, but I know that'd piss people off. The most overhyped player right now. I have to actually let this marinate. Overhyped. Le'Veon Bell. I don't even know why he's going in the first. I mean, if you go and look at what the Jets did this offseason, Adam Gase came out and literally said, I didn't even want Le'Veon Bell. Then they went and signed Ty Montgomery. They have Elijah McGuire. And then they went and signed Bilal Powell again. So why do they have 4 running backs if you have a Le'Veon Bell, right? I don't know. But another overhyped guy, who's a guy that moved? Like AB, but he's kind of produced. He's a wide receiver 1 for love God. Another overhyped player. I'm trying to think of a running back that's kind of being... Derrick Henry should never be drafted. I swear to God. Derrick Henry is just... that's beyond... I don't understand how people can get on that train. I have a hard time even looking at it, much less. Overhyped. Maybe Sammy Watkins. The dude hasn't played a full season in a long time. I'm looking at my board, by the way. Who's another overhyped player? Any rookie wide receiver, actually. Don't trust any rookie wide receiver. I know I've had words on like Marquise Brown and Metcalf, but those guys are... Nobody's going to produce rookie wide receiver wise. They often, or not very often, end up doing anything. Can you do a live mock draft? Maybe. I don't know. Let me just see if I can catch up on these questions, because I know it's stacking, because I like to... Hawkinson finished top 12 or top 7 tight end. Oh my God. Oh man. If the Lions want to target the tight end position, sure. What happened? Okay. I think I scrolled too far. Let me see here. Just want to know what Tyreek Hill's official suspension status is. Mock drafts only have him go. Yeah, I think mock drafts have him going in the 4th right now. I think what the information that's going around that I've seen from like the Sleeper app is that they're assuming it's going to be a 4-game suspension. I don't think that's going to be the case. The dude's going to get hit with like a 6 or an 8. Just the fact that you're even like, I don't know, the conversation that they recorded over the phone where he was like being extremely like threatening to his wife or whatever, that's enough to where I'm like, all right, this dude needs to get the fuck out of here. But I don't know. As of right now, Tyreek Hill, they got to release some information sooner or later. The NFL is going to drop a suspension. That's a given. Now, whether they do it now or after week 1, that's up to the NFL, because they're extremely inconsistent in that kind of stuff. Okay, let's see here. With the 5th pick in 18-man PP. 18-man? Like 18-team league? Barkley, Zeke, CMC. I was thinking Gordon, 5th pick. I mean, in a full PPR, probably Gordon's the best, or at least the safest, but it's either Gordon. Man, I like Mixon too. It's either Gordon, Mixon, or David Johnson as of right now. David Johnson in that offense probably could do something in a PPR. But to be honest, to be safe, I'd probably go Gordon. But honestly, gun to my head right now, in a full PPR, I'd probably take a guy like David Johnson, to be honest, just because of the injury concerns of Melvin Gordon and the fact that Austin Eckler shows up and steals receptions left and right, and then sometimes takes away some touchdowns. But yeah, Gordon's still a great option. I think both of them will figure it out as long as he stays healthy. Wondering the ranking in a standard league, non-PPR. Yeah, so it's probably Zeke number 1, Barkley 2, and then because of how much work Kamara was getting in the red zone last season, he'd probably be my number 3. I know he's going to probably get an uptick of rushing attempts this season, but we'll see. In a 2 QB league, would you rather go with Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen? It depends how many points per touchdown. They're both going to have, I think Lamar, I'm not even kidding, I think I might be the only one. I think Lamar Jackson's going to run for 1,000 yards, but I'm probably the only person that thinks that. I think I've mentioned this before. The guy had the 10th most rushing attempts in the red zone compared to all players in the NFL. He had more red zone rushing attempts than starting full-time running backs. The guy was just killing it in the red zone. That's not going to change this season. The dude's going to have like upwards of 6-7 rushing touchdowns. And then in 7 starts, the guy ran for 500 yards. I mean, I think it was 540 something. He could be a monster there. Josh Allen, on the other hand, I think they want him to run the ball less. He didn't run often in college. They brought in a bunch of receivers so they would force him to stay in the pocket. So I'd probably go with Lamar Jackson as of right now just because of the upside of his feet. But Josh Allen has the same. He's got more of an arm, also at least a more accurate arm from what we've seen. All right, love your video, personnel, okay. How much of the concern OBJ's injury history? I don't know. That's a good ass question too. How much concern should we have with? Oh my God, what happened? I gotta scroll this up a little bit. Okay. What are we doing? Sorry about that, guys. I don't know how it's Oh, what the hell? Oh, we're back. I think. We good? I gotta scroll a little bit more. All right. OBJ's injury history. Last season, I don't think he even wanted to play last season. I know he had that hamstring at the end of the season. When you have a hamstring injury, okay, great. You're going to miss the last 4 weeks, so be it. It's done. Okay, great. And then he broke his ankle. Was it a broken ankle a couple years back? I don't think we have any sort of concern with him. If he had torn, I don't know, if he had torn his ACL or something and that was the concern, then sure. But otherwise, I don't think his injury history should concern us very much. Can you go over a wide receiver range of Corey Davis, Marvin Jones? You know, I was doing Marvin Jones's player profile yesterday for my draft kit. Interestingly enough, he is literally the identical receiver of Kenny Golladay. They're pretty much the same receiver. They're receivers that are going to go deep. They're going to be found in the red zone. They have bigger frames. They're identical. Like, I don't even understand how Matthew Stafford's going to pick. He's just going to throw it up and hope that one of them goes and finds the ball. But looking at their values, I don't know, man. Corey Davis, the problem is you're playing with Marcus Mariota. The guy hasn't been good in the last couple seasons. Sure, he gets a bunch of targets, but, I mean, what is that when you're only catching 63% of the passes sent your way? Marvin Jones 100% depends on whether or not Matthew Stafford shows up. In the beginning of last season, sure, Matthew Stafford was there. He was actually a top, I think, 15 quarterback last season in the first 10 games. And then all of a sudden, no more Golden Tate, no more Marvin Jones, no more Kerryon Johnson. The dude threw 7 touchdowns in 8 games in the last 8 games. So he disappeared. Whether or not Matthew Stafford shows up, it will determine whether or not a guy like Marvin Jones can be a wide receiver 3 this season. Christian Kirk, the thing is, like, Christian Kirk is almost the identical of, I don't know, I wouldn't say the identical, but He's a deep threat. That's what he is. He's like a medium deep threat, and so is Andy Isabella. So they have two guys that can go up and scourge defenses. Now, whether or not he can figure it out, I think he's a pretty good receiver. From what he showed us last season, with Josh Allen, he can be decent. But value wise, these guys are all wide receiver threes. As of right now, they're all wide receiver threes. I know Corey Davis probably, because of the fact that he's the wide receiver one of his respective team, he's going to get more value and probably be ranked higher. But I think they're all wide receiver threes at the moment. Let's see here. Hawkinson, yeah, we went over that. Do I think Hawkinson will use right away along with Fant? Yes, both of them right away. There's no way that the Detroit Lions are going to use Jesse James over Hawkinson when they drafted him in the first round on top of Noah Fant. There's no way he's going to go in and sit behind Harriman or Jake Butt or whatever the heck the guy's name is. I understand those guys can be decent tight ends, but Fant is going to be used at a premium because of the fact that Joe Flacco loves using the tight end position, and to be honest, he's an extremely talented guy. He's tight end or wide receiver in tight end's body. All right, let's see here. This is a joke. Johnny Boom Boots and Joey Donuts walks into a bar. How about Ralph Biscuits? Ralph Biscuits also joins. With Baltimore run-heavy Austin, Justice Hill, he's on the whiteboard right there. Could be a huge sleeper. Mark Ingram disappoints. Yeah, and the other thing that we need to actually look at is the fact that Justice Hill can actually work in the passing game is pretty valuable, to say the least. Let me think about where Justice Hill... Because of the fact that Kenneth Dixon and Gus Edwards still sit on that roster, it scares the crap out of me. And I don't want to draft a guy like Justice Hill, but I think as the season progresses, when we get to like week 7, 8, 9, we're going to start hearing some stuff about him, and then he'll be a waiver wire pickup. I don't think he's a guy... I mean, dynasty-wise, sure. But I don't think he's a guy that, week 1, you need to have him on roster. Let's see here. Because let's not forget, sure, Mark Ingram he's a pretty good running back. He could figure it out. He could also work in the passing game. So he could completely pan out for this Baltimore Ravens offense. And he could also end up like Alex Collins from last year, where people thought Alex Collins was going to be great, and then eventually just fizzed out and became garbage. All right, let's see here. Chris Adams says, Nick Chubb, Marlon Mack, Damian Williams, standard league. Give me, in a standard? I probably want Marlon Mack. I'm not even kidding. Nick Chubb, all these guys are going to break 1,000 yards. Damian Williams might be the only one that I'm concerned about breaking 1,000 yards rushing. I don't know why. I'm a little concerned on it, but Nick Chubb will rush for over 1,000 yards. So will Marlon Mack. Now the question is, in a standard league, which one of these two is going to get work in the passing game? Neither of them. Nick Chubb is going to lose everything to Duke Johnson and or Kareem Hunt once he comes back. And then Marlon Mack, I think he had 20 targets last season, 16 receptions in 12 games. That's a catch per game. Awful. So neither of them are going to work in the passing game, so they're not going to get yards there. So the question is, who is going to get the most work in the red zone? And I think they're probably close to one another because both of their offenses are going to be great. They're going to get down in the red zone. They're going to have the ample opportunity. I like what the fuck was that? Okay, sorry about that. I like what thing that Marlon Mack did last season. In I think only 9 games, he had 10 touchdowns. Sorry, 12 games, he had 9 touchdowns. I don't know what happened to me. But Nick Chubb, because of the fact that Kareem Hunt comes back, I'd rather just have Marlon Mack over both those guys. Hi, Andrew. Okay? Oh, my gosh. Okay. What's up, Clark? How's it going? Mac, yep, I agree. Most underrated ADP? I'd have to go look at ADPs right now. All right. Let me open a new tab here. Let me go look at ADPs. Actually, let's see here. Okay. Let's go look at some ADPs, what the fuck? This might take a while, so I'm going to look at some other questions. What else we got here? Most overhyped? DK Metcalf? Probably. Yeah, most likely. If he doesn't end up starting, I'm not going to be surprised. If David Moore is the number 2 wide receiver of the Seahawks, there will be no surprise for me. Undervalued play or underhyped player, Matt Ryan, 100%. when it comes to like the Andrew Lucks and the Patrick Mahomes and the Watsons and Aaron Rodgers getting a little bit of value, everyone's forgetting about Matt Ryan, and it's perfect. Derrick Henry's a bust. Absolutely agree, Roger. Thumbs up. Tyrone Jenkins, thank you very much. LeSean McCoy shouldn't be drafted. Fact. 100% Alpha Vader. Dude, that backfield's a mess in itself. I don't even know how. I don't know who the GM of the Bills is, but he did some questionable decisions this offseason. He had LeSean McCoy already on roster. They went and signed Frank Gore. They signed TJ Yeldon. They drafted Singletary. And then they went ahead. They already had Robert Foster, Zay Jones. They went and signed John Brown, who's practically Robert Foster. They brought in Cole Beasley, which, okay, congratulations. They brought in Tyler Kroft, the backup tight end for the Bengals. I don't know what they constructed the worst fantasy lineup you could possibly make. Honestly, that should be a challenge to start the entire Bills roster and try to win a week. Montgomery or Kerryon Johnson? Give me Kerryon Johnson as of right now. I know I didn't mention yesterday. I talked about the NFC North, the NFC North at a pretty good extent too. The only reason I didn't mention either of the running backs of the Bears, Montgomery and or Tariq Cohen, because I got another video coming in the works, so I didn't want to get in that way. But between the two, probably, oh man, I'd probably take Kerryon Johnson as right now because I haven't seen David Montgomery play in the Bears offense. If the dude gets 200 plus touches, he's going to be an RB2 for sure. But obviously, he's not going to see any work in the passing game. And that obviously kind of kills his value here and there. And then he has to beat Mike Davis a little bit. Mike Davis kind of, could figure it out and get some touches here and there. Let's see here. I think Hill should get the same as Hunt, even more. What? I think Hill should get the same as Hunt or even more. Oh, Tyreek Hill. I thought you meant Justice Hill. My bad. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I know they haven't really hit him with, you're not guilty of something, but you're guilty of being a terrible fucking human being, maybe. So, I don't know. We'll see. The analyst with the backwards hat and lack of practical sense in general. Who was Pat Mayo was yesterday? Said Derrick Henry should be drafted in the second? What? David, holy moly. That's funny. To be honest, listen, here's the fact of the matter. When it comes to fantasy football, you can say this person shouldn't be drafted. Until the 2019 season ends, we don't know. We don't know. We're speculating. We're trying to make our best educated guesses based on the past and trends that have kind of gone on through offenses. Now, whether or not Derrick Henry figures it out, I don't know. But as of right now, you know what? Where's that one stat that I had? Let me just find it. Because I always talk about this stat, and I think these people who talk about Derrick Henry, I'm going to get back to that ADP question, though. I'm going to get back there, okay? Eventually, we'll get back to the ADP question. When people talk about Derrick Henry, they somehow disregard the fact that he scored all of his points in the last 6 weeks of the season. I don't know how that's possible. All right, here's the stat, ladies and gentlemen. All right, from weeks 1 through 12, okay, in half-point PPR scoring formats, Derrick Henry scored 76.16 fantasy points, okay? Now, from weeks 13 through 17, 4 weeks, he scored 115.6 points. He had 8 rushing touchdowns in those 4 weeks. How is he not being inflated like the goddamn Marshmallow Man in the first Ghostbusters movie, man? I don't understand how people can think Derrick Henry should be drafted so high. Okay, moving on. KJ, I don't know what that means. Kerryon Johnson? Oh, that's the answer. Okay, cool. Thank you, Roger. All right, I think Andrew Luck will be the top fantasy QB in 2019. That's perfect. Offensive line, upper echelon status, yep. And yeah, and you know what? On top of the fact, they brought in Devin Funchess. Sure, he might not be fantasy relevant, but he's going to be great for Andrew Luck. It's another receiver that he can throw to. They brought in Paris Campbell from Ohio State, another great receiver that's going to work in the slot. They've constructed a very good offense. On top of that, their defense is extremely underrated. The draft picks they had last season, all of them panned out defensively. Even the guys like Marcus Hunt, who were drafted years ago and we thought wasn't even in the league, is somehow managed to be a top-end defensive interior lineman. I don't know how. Their cornerbacks are solid. Their defense looks good. In seasons prior, they were awful. But that team as a whole, really good. And Andrew Luck, yeah, he absolutely can be the number one quarterback, and I wouldn't even be surprised. He could also fuck up his shoulder and miss the whole season for all I know. No, but seriously, Andrew Luck could be great. He will be great. Fifth pick, DJ. Come on, man. I don't know if that's supposed to be... I don't know what that means. Listen, these are just opinions. I have the right to my own opinion. Okay, anyway. Full PPR. Would you recommend going heavy RB or heavy wide receivers? I think it just depends on where you draft. Like when I made that zero RB strat video, I always prefaced that if you're going to do the strat, you either need to get Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins in the middle of the first round, or you need to sit at the tail end of the draft and lock up like Julio and Mike Thomas back to back if you want to do the strategy. Otherwise, I think you should take the best available player, which are often going to be running backs in the first round, and you should go that way. I don't think you should just completely tunnel in on, hey, I'm going to go zero RB, and you have the second overall pick, and you take D-Hop over Christian McCaffrey or Zeke Elliott that are available there. But to be honest, it's up to you. But yeah, I think if you're at the range where it's a great pick to take D-Hop or Devontae Adams, or you're sitting at the back end of the draft, those are probably the best spots in my opinion. Lamar is better. I'm assuming that's Lamar Miller. Okay, I got to catch up on these. Let's see here. What do you think about healthy Stafford? I think he was healthy last season. Oh no, he had a broken back or some shit like that, right? Stafford, I think he's been prior to last season, the dude's been in the top 12 quarterbacks for the last couple seasons. So I know he was the year prior. So he's a good quarterback. I don't know why people they've relegated him to being like the number 24 ranked quarterback, like crazy. All right, where are we at here? So I ended up trading a bit. Okay, first two. Still have a second round pick as well. Any draft strategy advice to go with available? Best players available. So I ended up trading a bit and ended up with 2 first round picks. I'm assuming this has to be in like a dynasty or a keeper format because that's insane. Any strategy going into it? If you have the 6th and 7th round or 6th and 7th overall picks, dude, you can lock up some studs. To be honest, strategy wise, if you end up getting like if you're sitting at the 6 or 7, if like Melvin Gordon drops to you and you could take Melvin Gordon and like Devontae Adams, oh my gosh, like that is a ridiculous team. And then you can go ahead in the second round, assuming you have a second round pick. I don't know if you do. Follow it up with like a solid like wide or running back too, like Dalvin Cook. I don't know. Anyway, I got to catch up on these questions. Sorry if I'm being just a little short with you guys. Would you take Mixon or Johnson because run catch a lot, passes Gordon, doesn't really catch passes. That is more. Well, hold up, Cody Smith. That's actually false. Melvin Gordon gets more work in the passing game than Austin Eckler. 100%. Go look at the stats from last season. Melvin Gordon had more targets and I think more receptions last season. Let me see here. Chargers. I'm almost positive. I've done this. I've broken this down, which is pretty ridiculous. I'm almost positive that receptions. Melvin Gordon had 66 targets, 50 receptions. Austin Eckler had 53 targets and 39 receptions. Yeah, Melvin Gordon is the receiving back of this team. Austin Eckler just comes in as a change in pace in order to make sure that Melvin Gordon isn't run into the ground. So that in itself is wrong. But would you take Mixon or Johnson? Honestly, they're both literally identically sitting next to each other in my opinion. But oh man, honestly, I really like. I'd probably go David Johnson, but I love Joe Mixon. I'm one of those people that because I play in so many drafts, I'll just like randomly, if I have like the 4th overall pick, I'll just take Mixon just so I have like a range of variety of players. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little crazy, but you need a little bit of craziness just to spice it up a little bit. So would you rather take DJ or Gordon over Adams or D-Hop? Yes, 18-team league, PPR. Oh, gosh. You know what the question is, actually? I have to go and see, because I don't play very often. I don't think I even played one full PPR league last season. I want to see how many points D-Hop scored in a full PPR format really quickly before I answer that. All right, we're at full PPR. How many points? So 333.5, and then a guy like I'd rather have Melvin Gordon than D-Hop. I think there's going to be regression from DeAndre Hopkins this year, so I'd probably rather have Gordon or David Johnson. David Johnson didn't do shit last year. No, don't even touch David Johnson. Ooh. Yeah, I'd rather have Melvin Gordon and then D-Hop and then probably Adams and then David Johnson. You know what? You're asking me questions. I'm not prepared for them right now. Let's move on. Oh my gosh, dude. Okay. Am I lost here? How many questions just flew? Okay. I got to go quick, guys. Here we go. I like Juju at 2. I don't know what that means. Number 2 wide receiver, number 2 overall. I don't know. I have been taking Juju in the first round. Oh, shit. So you're going full in on the Juju train. I like it. Corey Davis is overrated. Yep, could be. Give me A.J. Brown. Yeah, I mean, he was drafted to kind of come in and fill in and try to figure out that offense. They've got a lot of pieces in the Tennessee Titans offense. It's all up to whether or not Marcus Mariota can figure it out. He's in the last year of his contract. Otherwise, he's gone. Has Adam Thielen reached his peak? Do you think he'll continue to tail off? Disappointing second half. Honestly, I don't think he's reached his peak. I think it was just a matter of, hey, defenses realize, hey, Adam Thielen is the offense of this team. Let's go ahead and double cover him so we can stop. They double covered him, and then Stephon Diggs kind of was open for the majority of the rest of the season. I don't know. Going into like Thielen and Stephon Diggs, I think they're almost identical in value. They had literally the same amount of targets, even though Stephon Diggs missed 2 games. Stephon Diggs is always going to miss games, but Thielen, he's going to be a top 14 wide receiver. Now, whether he ends up at 9 or at 14, it's just a matter of touchdowns at that point because he's going to get the yards and receptions. Lions may have a coaching change this year. Yeah, it's possible. If it doesn't figure itself out, it's possible. Stafford was playing with a broken back. Yep. Partly fell off. Yep. Okay, good call. Moving on. So what do you think about me going with first four picks with the wide receivers in full PPR? Try to mock it. Do a mock draft. See how it looks. If you like the results, the question is, do you like the available running backs after 4 rounds? At the 5th round mark, do you like the available running backs? Do you think that those guys can potentially help you throughout the season and have at least some sort of PPR value? Because from what I've seen, if you go 4 wide receivers back to back, the available running backs are going to have no PPR value. They're guys like Chris Carson, Mark Ingram. Who else was sitting down there? There was a lot of Phillip Lindsay from what I remember. But Phillip Lindsay could get some work in the passing game. So it just depends on what you like. If you like the running backs that are available, sure, go for it. But again, don't barrel down and say, I'm going to draft 4 wide receivers. Draft 2. If the 3rd round, there's a guy that somehow fell to you, take him. Do you think David Johnson is going to have an awesome season? I think he's going to be a lot better than last year. And last year he was he wasn't decent. He was underwhelming at times, considering what we wanted him to be and what we've seen him be. But I think he's going to have a much improved season comparatively last year. PPR, Zeke, C-McC, Saquon. Okay, 12-man PPR. The 4 horsemen are gone. Who am I taking 5th overall? As of right now, Melvin Gordon. In a 16-team PPR, should I go with 2 wide receivers or RBs in the first 3 rounds? In a 16-team, here's the thing. It really depends on what falls to you guys. Like, I can't 100% say that you have to go double RB or you have to go 1-1, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver. It just depends what kind of value drops into your lap. But as of right now, in that deep of a league, I think solidifying, unless you like one of the lower end RB2s like Aaron Jones, you could probably wait on it and go with maybe a one in a full PPR 16 team league. I'm trying to think, if you're like sitting in the middle of the draft and you get a guy like Mix, or I don't know, like David Johnson Mixon, and it comes back to you, you can take perhaps maybe a guy like Juju on the way back, or you can end up with like I'd go running back, wide receiver, running back in the first 3 rounds. Just off top of my head. All right, moving on. Matt Ryan this season. Going to be fantastic. Could be the sneaky QB1 by the end of the season. They improved the offensive line. They drafted 2 first-round picks, both offensive linemen. They also signed 2 guys this offseason, free agency, 2 offensive linemen. The offensive weapons, we know they're fantastic. We know he can be great. All he needed to do was protect himself. That's fine. And also, you play in the NFC South. It's going to be shootouts every week when you play those teams. Matty Ice, late pick. I mean, Matty Ice is fantastic. Trade Miles Sanders, N'Keal Harry for Tyler Boyd, Paris Campbell. Who won the trade? Oh, that's a good one. To be honest, I'm assuming this is a dynasty, and if so, I'm going to take the side of Miles Sanders and N'Keal Harry, because I think Sanders is going to be that RB1 for the coming years of the Eagles. Derrick Henry is sit open day. What? Derrick Henry is a sit opening day at Cleveland. Oh, okay. Thank you. I have to read that again. No good. Yeah. They're already, yeah. People draft Henry in the 3rd, not knowing that you have to sit him in week 1. Damn. Thank you, Roger. I appreciate that. Good point out. Would you draft Henry high? But I'll take him. I won't draft Henry. Yeah, no, listen. Derrick Henry could have value, but it just depends on what kind of a discount you get him at. 5th round. Okay, yeah. Bucks. I'm taking Peyton Barber late too. Yeah, honestly, Peyton Barber could figure it out, or Ronald Jones will win it. You can probably get them both late. Like, I think Peyton Barber as of right now is like going in the 12th round, and then Ronald Jones maybe a little bit earlier because people have the inclination that he's going to win the job. But Peyton Barber could easily continue to hold that and be the RB1 there. Let's see here. Ronald Jones, overhyped players do not draft. Yeah, there you go. See, there's a lot of different opinions on the matter. Let's see here. I picked David Johnson 2 years ago. I don't know if I should give him another chance. What do you mean? If you drafted him 2 years ago, I'm assuming you drafted him 2017 then. He broke his wrist. You can't anticipate that kind of stuff. So that kind of injury, if it was an ACL on the other hand, I'd be like, okay, maybe we should worry a little bit. But or if it was a reoccurring like toe injury like AJ Green every damn year. I've picked him 2 years in a row. Okay, let's see here. People are asking each other questions. Should I pick a premium tight end in the first 2 rounds? I don't like it. I don't know what it is. I can't find myself going and grabbing a guy like Kelsey, Ertz, or Kittle because I just don't like the tight end position. Sure, it would be fantastic to have a guy that I don't have to worry about on a weekly basis, but I've continued to win leagues without good tight ends. On just going to the waiver wire, picking up guys like Hooper, picking up guys like Chris Herndon, picking up guys like, I don't even know, Vernon Davis at times. Evan Ingram somehow was dropped in one of my leagues. Like there's guys that get injured, they get dropped, you can pick them up, figure it out. But taking a top tier tight end, sure. But you have to approach it as, if you take Kelsey, he's your number 1 wide receiver practically. Last season, I think in half PPR, he was the number 8 in points compared to wide receivers. So he would have been the number 8 wide receiver. So I don't think taking him early is the best value thing, but I think it could be good. But I think there's a lot of other tight ends this season, Njoku, McDonald, Jared Cook, that are kind of being undervalued that you can kind of snag later. Kelsey's the only one that's worthy. Yep, agreed. Let's see here. Okay. What do you believe more, Aaron Jones or Marlon Mack? I'd probably rather have Marlon Mack than Aaron Jones as of right now. I know I'm high on Aaron Jones, but the thing is, Aaron Jones, I think you can get them both, to be honest. But as of right now, I'll take Marlon Mack because I know that the Colts are going to run the ball. On the other hand, I don't know listen, I'm assuming that the Packers are going to run the ball. They're not going to be last in rushing attempts like last season. So that's the assumption that I'm making. But I'd rather have Marlon Mack right now. He could be a good trade bait. Okay, moving on. Let's see here. Thank you. Okay. Why did it? Okay. Where are we at here? Okay. If I missed your question, just retype it in the chat. I will get to it eventually. Okay, DJ. I believe Mike Williams ends up with no. With an no? What? I don't know what that means. Thank you, Justin. Can you archive the chat session so I can watch it all? Watch all of it? What do you mean, archive the chat session? I don't know what's happening. I think can you not just like copy it? Copy pasta into a Word doc and see how it spits out? Number one wide receiver, what do you say? It's Davante Adams. 100%. I'm fully committed to Davante Adams as my number one this season. Kamara or Christian McCaffrey, if you had first pick, I'd go with neither of them. I'd take Saquon. But of the two available that you are suggesting, I'd probably go with Christian McCaffrey. I know Kamara's upside in the red zone is great, but Latavius Murray, oh my goodness, scares the crap out of me. All right. So, Mr. Nathan Woods coming in with a $5 donation. Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. The champ is here. Andrew will help me win back-to-back. That is a absolute fact. I'll try my best. Thank you again for the $5 donation. Much appreciated, my brother. It's definitely not necessary to come out and donate, but when people do, much appreciated. All right, let's catch up on some stuff here. Christian McCaffrey. Okay, yeah, all right. Read my message earlier. I took DJ 2 years ago. Hasn't looked so hot for me. Okay, I think they're talking about each other. Okay. I think Kyler Murray is a storm waiting to drop it on all. There's a possibility. I think his ADP is rising so fucking fast. I don't know what it is. I think Kyler Murray sits at like the number 14 quarterback right now. I don't know what the hell people are thinking. They're ranking him above Ben Roethlisberger in some leagues. Like, what are we doing? I don't know. Some people are crazy, but so am I. I have my own quirks here and there. All right. Best site based off what? To base off my picks. Best site. I don't know. I'll have a draft kit within the next month, and that'll be the best site. No, but honestly, I don't know. I'll get back to you on that because honestly, the only ADPs I ever really look at is the Fantasy Pro site that I do mock drafts off of. Outside of that, because of the fact that it takes the averages of a bunch of people, I just kind of go based off that. But no, I'll have my own ranking, so you can maybe that'll help. Okay, moving on. Love Mixon and Johnson this year. Andrew, you're awesome. Keep it up. Okay, thank you very much, Cody Smith. I want to do what you're doing. Just need to get it all set up. Yeah, if you have any questions, just hit me up on Twitter. I'll answer your questions on how to get it all set up and stuff like that. I don't mind helping you out. Let's see here. Is it possible to draft Zeke and how is it? Please tell me. Easy gamer. Please. Is it possible to draft Zeke and Saquon? Technically, it shouldn't be. But has it probably happened no, it's actually impossible. But if you somehow play in a dynasty and you can offer the guy that has the second overall pick, like, I don't know, 3 rounds worth of picks, you give him the second, the third, and the fourth round pick, you could probably get Zeke and Saquon back to back. So technically, yes, you could. But in a redraft league, absolutely not. That's never going to happen. If you're making trades, yes. Okay, sure. Thank you, Roger. Roger's coming in here just answering all the questions. My dude, thank you very much. Let's see here. 2-man leagues, I think you can make them, no? Like on Yahoo or ESPN, I'm sure you can. But at that point, you're playing DFS. You're playing daily fantasy. You're just grabbing the best available players and you're just throwing them into matchups. So I don't know how much fun 2-man leagues are, but hey, to each their own. Let's see here. Scrolling. PPR Dynasty. Which side wins? Tariq Cohen, Mike Williams, 2020 first overall, or Antonio Brown, Kirk Cousins, and 2020 third. In a Dynasty PPR? If you take a 2020 first, who is going to be even in that draft? That's the question. Mike, just off of straight age? Because, like, what is Kirk Cousins, right? Like, do you need the quarterback? That's the question. Are you giving up the quarterback? Because, honestly, I think I'd rather have Tariq Cohen, Mike Williams in the 2020 first. I know Antonio Brown's really good, but how many more years does he have left in the tank? That's the question. And will he be able to transition in a Raiders offense and be decent? I don't know. But Kirk Cousins, dime a dozen, unless you play in a 2 QB league, and then we have a different conversation. Because if it's a 2 QB league, I'd rather have Antonio Brown, Kirk Cousins. All right, moving on. Competitive 12. Okay. Our format values RBs, but I got burnt bad. Okay, last year. Should I take an awesome wide receiver and follow up with? Yeah, that's the thing. I think it all depends on what you. It depends where you draft at. It honestly does. Because if you want a wide receiver and you sit at like the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th pick, but you're playing full PPR, no, you're playing half PPR. Yeah, if you have one of those mid-round picks, you can take one of those solid wide receivers, or you can wait in the end, unless you're drafting at the end of the 14-team league, and you'll draft. You can draft wide receiver, running back. But to be honest, I don't think there's so much depth at the wide receiver position this year, guys. I'm not even kidding. Comparatively to the running backs, like outside the top 24 running backs, there's nothing. And especially because you play it in a 14-man league, each team is starting upwards. I mean, I'm assuming you have a flex position as well, right? So 14 times 3, there's not enough running backs out there. So I would suggest locking down some solid RBs, and then you can go ahead and start, picking out some wide receivers that could have some great upside. Okay, NBA, but Durant just signed with the Nets. Really? Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, I keep up with the NBA. That's interesting. Wow. Okay. Well, he's going to be out for a while with the Achilles. I think the information was that Kyrie was going to also sign with the Nets, and then Kemba Walker went to the Celtics. So we'll see how that works. Okay, let's see here. PPR Flex, Auction League. Auction League. Oh, don't even get me started with auctions, man. Dude, that shit's so... Let's see here. Auction Flex. Okay. Mahomes should go for 40 or on a $200 budget. Thoughts? To be honest, I have no idea what the values are in auction leagues. I haven't played an auction league since 2012. And in that league, I waited way too long. I let too many players go. And then I got torched in that league. And I was like, I'm never playing auction again. Because there was one guy, I think he got Peyton Manning. And it was the year that Peyton Manning had his record season. I don't know what year. I think it was 2012, 2013, either way. And I got torched because he had AP and Peyton Manning coming off their injuries, and they completely ruined everybody. So I haven't played an auction league in a while. So honestly, I don't know the values. All right. Better in the late rounds. Njoku. Okay, Big Jim. No Delaney Walkers. I don't want to touch it. Because I'd rather have the youth and the guys that are not going to get injured, because Delaney Walker's... He's been in the league for like 13 years, for the love of God. David Njoku or Vance McDonald. I like Vance McDonald a little bit more, but to be honest, I like Vance McDonald a little bit more. Just a tad bit. Not too much, but the slight edge makes me pick McDonald. In a PPR league, especially in a PPR, I'd probably rather have McDonald. I think the offense is going to spread the ball more. Are you playing in Scott Fishbowl 9? I applied, and I did not get anything back. Gosh, I wanted to play in it this year. So I even tried last year. Didn't work. But here's the thing. There's, I think, 1,200 players or 1,200 people that play in the league. There's, I think they're all 12-team leagues. There's so many people that apply. I think like 10,000 people apply for that. So no big deal. Maybe another year. But I was hoping, man. I was hoping. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get in, but it is what it is. All right, let's see here. I definitely take a chance on Ronald Jones, my 4th RB. Yep. Okay. Yep, sounds good. Why is Tyler Boyd ranked so low? I can't even explain it, Jorge. It's unfreaking believable. He did really good last year. Yeah, he was fantastic last year in fantasy, and yet he's continued to he's given the shaft. I don't understand why people don't like him. I think the comparison. At the end of the 2018 season, he had just as much stats as Amari Cooper did. Then again, and I think Tyler Boyd missed 2 weeks due to injury. Either way. Something like that. But either way. Tyler Boyd, somehow undervalued. To be honest, from the way it's looking right now, all of the Cincinnati Bengals are being undervalued. AJ Green, he has injury risk. still his ADP is dropping. Joe Mixon should probably be taken earlier than like the 10th pick where people have him. But no, Tyler Boyd's incredible. I think, like I mentioned earlier in other videos, when him and AJ Green were both on the field at the same time, he was targeted more. He had more receptions, and he was just great. The only difference was the touchdown upside that I think AJ Green had a game of 3 touchdowns in one game against the Ravens, if I'm not mistaken, and that kind of blew it out of proportions. I'm considering taking Kerryon as my second, depending on, okay, am I crazy? I'm a Lions fan. To be honest, if you're a Lions fan, why not? Just go for it. I don't see it being too big of a risk. Have you guys ever tried to talk for an hour and 10 minutes straight? Because my throat is fucked up right now. All right, let's see here. No, I don't think Kerryon Johnson's crazy, but I don't think you need to take him in the second. I don't think he's going to even. I think he's from what I've seen in the mock drafts the live mock drafts that I've done, outside of the ones that I've recorded and put out, he's being taken in the 4th round. So you can wait even to the 3rd round, and then like if you want to make sure you get him on your team, 3rd round probably a good spot for him. I like the Pepe that you have also. I meant, will this video be archived? Oh yeah, no. I'm gonna post this video. TTJH 1976. I'm posting this video. That's 100%. I'm posting this video. I want my work league back to lack. There you go. Cody Smith says McDonald number 1, Njoku 2, Walker 3. Don't trust Mariota. Hey, there you go. You're starting to get it. There it is. What is this? Madison Worth. The shot since Cook is always the handcuff to Dalvin Cook 100%. You should if you own Dalvin Cook. If you don't own Dalvin Cook, if you get him in the late rounds, why not? But here's the thing: a lot of leagues don't have a lot of bench spots. A lot of leagues don't have an injured reserve spot, which I'm going to make a video on because I can't stand when teams or when leagues or commissioners do not have an injured reserve spot. If your top running back somehow injured and he's out for the next 4 weeks, I shouldn't have him just decaying on my bench. I can throw him on my IR and then figure it out. But that's just my opinion. Okay, let's see here. Lose to the Lakers in the finals. Listen, I live in LA. I'm a Lakers fan. There's no way we get to the fucking finals. We're somehow going to mess it up. I promise you we'll mess it up. Okay? I'm even just looking. Let's think about the Lakers starting lineup right now. What do you have? Rondo. You have Kuzma. You have LeBron. You have Anthony Davis. And then who's our shooting guard? Do we need one? I don't think so. But to be honest, they should have went out and signed somebody by now. But then again, you don't have any money. They want to try to get Kawhi. Good luck, man. I don't know, man. The Lakers have been pissing me off as of late. But Kawhi to the Clippers, is that an actual thing, Cody? I want to actually know because I don't think anybody's going to the Clippers. Clippers, even in LA, are torched. Okay, we're good. All right. Did I get to the bottom of this thing here? No. Okay, let's see here. Trade Odell for Tyreek and Hardman. Would you do this? No. I wouldn't do that. Absolutely no. I think Odell Beckham, I mean, what is he, like 25, 26 years old? I understand Tyreek Hill's just as young, but Tyreek Hill's off-field issues scares the shit out of me. It really does. When it comes to like a dynasty or, that kind of situation, I would not trade Odell away for Tyreek. I know Mecole Hardman, sure, could end up being that, deep threat, but I don't. I'd have a hard time pulling the trigger on that. I'd rather go with Odell. Now that he's in Cleveland, he's not in New York fucking around with some bad people. He's in Cleveland. He'll be just fine, okay? Him and Jarvis Landry, they'll figure it out. He'll be great for the rest of his career. I like Boyd. Yep, everybody should like Boyd. Starry Saman earlier, I sent a message. Okay. I believe Mike Williams will be the number 1 receiver on the Chargers by year's end. What do you say? That is a bold statement, and I like it. But let's be honest. Mike Williams is not a possession receiver. He's not going to get as many targets as Keenan Allen. But now that Tyrell Williams is gone, there are a lot of receptions up for grab. Whether or not Mike Williams figures it out, I don't know. But Mike Williams, I think he's going to get the red zone work. That's a given. So is Hunter Henry. So is Melvin Gordon. But will he be the lead receiver? I don't think so. I think we're a couple years away from that. I think Keenan Allen's just a little too good and targeted a little too much. But I like the bold statement, Justin. I like it a lot. All right, Boyd's stats were solid when Green was in the lineup. And then when Green missed, it went to shit. Yeah, because they just double covered him. That's all you have to do. And somehow John Ross was scoring touchdowns in that time. Is it a dynasty? I don't know who you're asking. Sorry, statement earlier. Okay. Did I just scroll way too far? No, I didn't. Maybe I did. Either way, you can ask questions. Let's see here. Are there any NFL players' YouTube channels you watch? Wait. NFL players have YouTube channels? This is the first I've heard of it. I know for a fact that Cam has... Does Cam Newton have a YouTube channel? I think I saw something on Twitter about it. But no, I don't really watch. Listen, I'd love to explain to you what I watch on YouTube. Like, let me go ahead and rip open a new link here. Let me go to my YouTube really quickly. Let me see because almost everything that I have on YouTube. Okay, so looking at what I have. All right, so the videos that are on my YouTube like subscription box sit as like, there's a guy that's he's really good. I actually I'll drop his name, but this guy, actually, you know what? I'll type it in the chat. Maybe I'll just type the link in the chat because I don't mind. Because this dude, that dude is ridiculous. He is an unbelievable musician. So there's one guy that's on my YouTube subscribe. There's other guys that talk about movies because I'm a big movie buff. There's other video game stuff here and there. There's a lot of comedians YouTube channels that I kind of follow. If you guys like, because I work like a 45, 50-hour week job in an office, a lot of the time there'll always be like an earpiece sitting in my ear and I'm just listening to podcasts and stuff like that. So guys like Rogan, guys like Dalia, Brandon Schaub, and Callan, dude, those guys are hilarious. So I don't know if you guys watch them. All right, let me get back to some questions here. But no, that musician that I dropped in there, he's ridiculous. I don't know how he does the stuff he does. Some of the most ridiculous stuff I've seen. Clippers are cursed and will never win a championship until they leave Los Angeles for getting off to... Okay, yeah. Either way. Kiki worth a bench spot? Yes, absolutely. Kiki Cutie he's pretty good, but the issue was last season he was injured for majority of the season. But let me go ahead and... I think I had a stat on him. I'm going to just scroll down my draft guide thing that I made here. Let me find it. I'm trying to draft or roll through these profiles. Where's Kiki Cutie's page? Let me shed some light on you guys with this Kiki Cutie. Okay, Kiki Cutie. All right. So last season, when he was targeted, 7 or more times, he automatically scored 10 plus points. But the thing was, how many games did he play? He played 6 games last season. Now, including the playoffs, he played 7. In 7 of those games, there was 4 separate games in which he was targeted 7 plus times. In those games, he scored 16.2 fantasy points, 14.3 fantasy points, 10.2, and then in the playoffs, 22.5. I mean, all you got to do is feed him the ball. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to stay on the field. I mean, just looking at the options they have D-Hop on one side, you got Fuller on the other, and you got Kiki in the slot. Now, the problem I've found that when I've been doing research, is that the Texans have very rarely used 3 wide receiver sets throughout their entire season last year because of how much depth they had at the wide receiver position because so many guys were out or injured. They stuck to 2 wide receiver sets. Now, if Bill O'Brien wants to go ahead and implement more of a 3 wide receiver set so they can utilize Kiki more, he can absolutely be a pretty solid wide receiver 3 and for sure deserves a bench spot in leagues. Did I miss anything up here? We're moving down. LOL. Right, my bad. Free agency is crazy. Let's see here. Do a good job, man. Keep it up. Thank you very much. DP's Texas Outfitters LLC. I love that name. What the heck? All right. Tyler Lockett or DJ Moore? Give me Tyler Lockett. I know DJ Moore should be good, but let's be honest. He's not going to be the number 1 receiver on that team. That's Christian McCaffrey. On top of it, DJ Moore, what is he great at, right? He doesn't have a huge frame. He has speed, but looking at the receivers of the Panthers, I think they're pretty much like all identical to an extent. There's a good chance that he's definitely going to see more targets, but I'd rather have the number 1 wide receiver of Russell Wilson, which is going to be Tyler Lockett, and how he'll be used in the flex or in the slot. I don't know why I call it the flex, because usually all flex receivers are slot receivers. Have you guys noticed that? I swear to God, every time you put a wide receiver in your flex spot in fantasy, they somehow are managing to be flex or their slot positions. Guys like, let me pull up some slot positions. So Doug Baldwin in years prior was a slot. Guys like Randall Cobb in years prior was sitting in the slot. Who's another decent slot receiver? Cooper Kupp, probably. I don't know. Cooper Kupp can be a top 3 on your team. Okay, whatever. I have too many questions in front of me. Is Sony Michel a bust this year? Listen, I don't know. I don't want him to be a bust, but I have a hard time thinking that he's going to see as many touches as he needs to. But I made a video earlier this season. If you haven't checked it out, it was literally just on the backfield of the Patriots. They run the ball so damn much that Sony Michel is going to have value. But if Damian Harris shows up from Alabama and just starts taking away carries on a weekly basis, it's going to be hard. I don't know. I'm going to have a hard time figuring it out. But is he a bust? I don't think so. I think he'll be an RB, like a low-end RB2, like probably maybe in the 20s. So, but then again, so will James White. So there's always a potential that if they don't use Rex Burkhead, they don't use Damian Williams? No, what am I? Damian Harris? Excuse me. Jesus Christ. Too many names in my head. That he could potentially be an upper echelon running back too, because of the amount of touches and the amount of goal line work he could potentially get. How much is the draft guide? All right, so this is what I've been thinking. All right, so as of late, I've been thinking to myself, all right, listen, there's a bunch of people with draft guides out there. So I don't want to have to compete with those kind of guys, because a lot of those guys, like the fantasy footballers, those guys they're ridiculous, right? They have like an 8-man squad working for them, and they're fantastic, right? They've got great draft kits. I've never bought one, and to be honest, I actually like to buy one just to see what's inside of it. But I know a lot of people say it's great, so I don't want to compete with that. So what I was thinking was, because I'm going to start a Patreon, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Patreon, but I wanted to kind of have this thing where if you, like, how do I explain it? I want to give away free content for, like, subscribers of Patreon. So let's say, for example, just like Netflix, right? $10 a month, you'll get, like, 3 extra videos a week that are not posted onto the YouTube. There's Q&As like this that only people that are subscribers of the Patreon can join. There are weekly flex rankings, so you don't have to ask so many questions. And that'll be like for like $10 a month. On top of all you have to do for like the first month, you subscribe for the first month, $10, boom, you get the 150-page draft guide, and then you can unsubscribe and the draft guide's yours. You get it in PDF form, boom, it's yours. But that's what I was thinking. I haven't really committed to an idea, but that's most likely what it's going to be. I don't know. Well, I'll get more information on that in the future, but let me see some questions here before we lose my voice. How far is Todd Gurley fall before you could take a chance on him? Honestly, if Todd Gurley's sitting there in the second round and I had like a top 6 pick and it comes back to me, I'd consider it. Here's the thing. I think when we talk about Todd Gurley, we really have to wait and see what he does in training camp. That's literally what's going to be the determining factor as of right now. I think if in fact he's ending up practicing on a daily basis, then that's fantastic. Then his arthritis in his knee is not as bad as people projected, and he'll be fine. I don't think they're going to work him as hard as they did last season, so we can't expect him to be the RB1. But we could surely expect him to get a lot of the goal line work and be involved in that offense, because the Rams, when they're going, and they're scoring a lot of points. I think for like the first 8-9 games of the season last year, the Rams were scoring like 30 plus a week, so everyone was getting involved, and Todd Gurley was just ridiculous in fantasy. But this coming season, if he falls into the second round and I'm sitting there, if I had like a 7th round pick or 7th overall pick, and it comes back to me, I wouldn't mind taking him as of right now, even with the information we don't have. But then again, I'm a little crazy. I'm a Rams fan. It happens. So I drafted with 10 teams in a standard league. This is the team I managed to draft. What do you think? Okay, let's see. Let me scroll down a little bit for this. All right, so you have Deshaun Watson. You have Josh Allen. I like those 2 quarterbacks. Both have rushing ability, which is fantastic also, because especially in in standard leagues, having a rushing quarterback, fantastic. And then you have Gordon, Kerryon, Tariq Cohen, Eckler. Okay, so good. You've already locked down his handcuff. That's fine. Kerryon. Here's the thing about Tariq Cohen that scares me. If you play in a standard league, a lot of his value is going to come from receptions. Now, if you can go ahead and say, I'm not worried about that, I think he's going to get some work in the rushing game as well to kind of level it out, then that's perfectly fine. Let me see what you have a wide receiver. Odell, T.Y., Lockett, N'Keal Harry, Cook, Hooper, and Lutz. That's not bad. My question is, I'm going to look at your team. You have Mixon and Gordon and Kerryon. Oh, Cohen can sit on your bench. That's actually I like that team. I like that team a lot, actually. With Jared Cook at tight end. Nobody's running defenses anymore? What's going on? Will Lutz. No, that's a great team. I think that's a pretty good team. You have 2 solid running backs. And then, obviously, you have the upside of T.Y. and Odell and Lockett. All 3 guys that, are respective wide receiver ones on their teams. You have the handcuff to Gordon, and then you have I like the team a lot. Hunter, that's a good team right there. I'm picking 10 in league. Okay, let's see. I'm picking at the number 10 in my league. Is it worth going Mixon or top wide receiver in the first round? Or going after Kelsey? No, I'd rather have. Okay, listen. If Devontae Adams is sitting there, I'd consider it at the 10th pick. But I don't think he will be. Is it a standard league? Let me see here. Picking number 10 in my league. I don't know. So I'd rather have Mixon or Devontae Adams. If Devontae Adams gets to you, why not? Especially if it's a PPR format, why not? Otherwise, Mixon, pretty good spot there. Let's see here. My bench for Dynasty PPR is, Foreman, Kiki, Sanu, AP, Fitz. Yeah, well, here's the thing. When you say, is it good? How are you playing a Dynasty and you only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bench spots? You guys only play with 6 bench spots in a Dynasty? I play in Dynasty leagues that have 30 total team spots. So, everyone's gone. There's no such thing as a waiver wire. But anyway, to be honest, if you have, I think Foreman's going to figure it out. AP and Fitz, that's the only issue with, especially in a dynasty. AP's, I don't know what he's going to do. I think he might even get cut if Darius Geis is healthy. Fitz, he's coming to the end of his career. So both those guys right there, both probably in the last couple seasons of their careers, you probably need to go ahead and see if you can trade them to a guy that is interested. But otherwise, the other guys, they're all young. And I know Sanu's kind of in the midway of his career, but those other 3 guys, Madison, Foreman, and Kiki, they're all young guys that are pretty good for a dynasty bench. Landry, yep, I love Jarvis Landry. Somehow managed to figure it out last season, even though he played like garbage. Hi, Andrew. Great advice. Thank you very much, Mike. What's your go-to fantasy name? Okay, you ready for this, Lawrence? So every time, every league for the last couple of years, my go-to fantasy team and its name is You Like That, and then it's Kirk Cousins doing that. You know how I would love to play the video, but then this video gets strike down. But I don't know if you guys know the video where Kirk Cousins is playing for the Redskins. He comes out after winning a game, and there's the media there taking pictures and shit, and he's like, "You like that?" And he's just completely losing his mind. That's literally my go-to. It's You Like That, and then it's Kirk Cousins yelling at people. Let's see here. What are we doing? With RBBC becoming such a big thing, running back by committee, on the league, what are some true bell cows we can rely on in half PPR? Let's look. I'm going to look up and down this list, okay? If anything, you know what? Let's do this really quickly. Andrew's going to make some adjustments here. Actually, hold up. Before we get there, Andrew's going to close that, and that. All right. Let's go here. Let's open this up. Let's bring that down. Andrew's got to make some moves. Damn. All right. We go here. We go here. We go here. All right. So you're talking about true bell cows in a half PPR. Is this half PPR? Great. Who cares? All right. True bell cows. Saquon, Zeke, McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, to an extent, he's not a bell cow because he's not carrying the ball a bunch of times, but he'll figure it out. Melvin Gordon's actually, no, hold on, wait. Where's the running back only? I kind of wanted to read a stat also that I saw the other day. I had to do with bell cow running back, so I think this is kind of relevant for the specific time. Where are we at here? Where's the bell cow stat that I found? Son of a gun. Okay. So, running backs with over 300 touches per season, or in a single season, right? In the year 2000, there was 19 running backs that had over 300 touches. Okay? So, progressively over the years, from 2000, I'm going to read the amount of running backs that had over 300 touches from 2000 to 2001. You get it. All the way to 2018. So, in 2000, there was 19. And the year after, 13, 16, 15, 12, 14, 14, 11. Okay, so from 2000 to 2007, pretty good amount of bell cow 300 touch running backs. Then we get to 2008 where it's 9, 9, 11, 8, 10, 9. Again, pretty solid, but obviously we're not in the double digits very often then. And then we get to 2014 to 2018 where as of the last 5 seasons, the bell cow running back where it's just a bunch of touches doesn't exist anymore. In 2014, they had 5 running backs with over 300 touches, then 4, 7, 6, and last year there's only 5. So the bell cow running back doesn't really technically exist anymore, considering no one's touching the ball over 300 times. So asking that question, who's a reliable bell cow? There really isn't much, but there are guys that are going to have the backfields to themselves. So Barkley, Elliott, McCaffrey. I know Alvin Kamara does not have the backfield to himself, and neither does Melvin Gordon, but I consider them dependable running backs via bell cow as of today's definition. David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell's a question mark. Mixon's fine. James Conner's fine. Nick Chubb is only time will tell whether he figures that out. I think for the first 8 games, for the first 9 weeks, he'll figure it out. Todd Gurley should be fine. Dalvin Cook finally will be alone because Latavius Murray is going to go bother Alvin Kamara for some time. Marlon Mack, no. He's never going to get any of the work in the passing game. Same thing with Chubb. So probably both those guys, they can't be considered full-time backs. They're not going to have the backfield to themselves. Leonard Fournette, if he figures it out in the passing game, maybe. But I think after these top 12 guys, can we depend on these guys? Like Devontae Freeman, is Ito Smith going to do something? Derrick Henry, is Dion Lewis going to take away? Yes, he is. Kerryon Johnson. Can we depend on CJ Anderson not coming and ruining our season? Can they go ahead and cut Theo Riddick for us so that we can rest easy at nights? Josh Jacobs probably will figure it out, but he's in his rookie year, so we don't know what to expect. Michelle, there's just an RBBC sitting there. Philip Lindsay, that's an RBBC. You have Royce Freeman, you have Devontae Booker, and then you have Philip Lindsay sitting there. Sure, Lindsay had a bunch of touches last year, but he didn't get as much play time. I mean, the splits when it comes to snaps per game, they were close. Kenyon Drake, I don't know how that offense is going to work, but he could potentially be the only guy back there as long as they don't play Kalen Ballage because he's awful. Mark Ingram, that's an RBBC. Chris Carson, that's an RBBC. David Montgomery, that's an RBBC. Lamar Miller will eventually be in an RBBC. San Francisco, RBBC. Washington, same thing. Let's see here. Buffalo, same thing. Philadelphia, same thing. Tampa Bay, that's a question mark until someone figures that out. But you know what I mean? There really isn't, outside of these top 12 guys, there isn't really some dependable guys. Okay, anyway, now that we've kind of settled that point, Andrew's moving back. All right, one more time. Can I move it back? Oh, God. Nope, that's not it. That's it. Thank you, Andrew. Okay, and then we're going to go back one more. Perfect. Okay. Now, how many questions did I miss? Okay. I have a doozy for a football riddle that I just can't seem to figure out. All right, let me hear it, Brandon. Jorge says, do you have different tiers, different benefits on Patreon? Yeah, I do. As of right now, probably, I don't know. I'll probably make a video. Look, here's the thing. I want to finish this draft kit so that as soon as it's finished and it's ready to be given out to people, I can announce, okay, these are the Patreon tiers and stuff like that. $5, $10, $15 for someone who's fucking crazy. But, you know what I mean? Or $1 if you're just here to support. You know, I kind of want to do something like that. But I want to first finish this draft kit. I'm almost done. There's a couple more teams and a couple more players. I'm looking at literally I have a whiteboard. I don't want to turn the camera because then everything gets fucked up, but there's a whiteboard sitting here, giant one, that has all the players that I haven't finished and the teams that I haven't, or the teams that I haven't edited. I've finished a lot of teams. I think I've finished just about 80% of it. I just need to finish like teams like the Bills, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the 49ers, because I don't want to have to write about players that are not going to be great. So I'm having a hard time like going and re-editing all that kind of stuff. But anyway, soon. Jorge. Should I draft Cooper Kupp over Robert Woods or Brandon Cooks? No. I think, honestly, they're probably all going to be 1,000-plus yard receivers. And then the question is going to be who's going to get the touchdowns. Brandon Cooks has obviously been the most consistent throughout his career. No matter where he's gone, the last 4 seasons had over 1,000 yards receiving, so he has that kind of consistency. But truth be told, I think they're all going to probably be around the same range. Robert Woods was given just a little bit more of an increase in statistics because of the fact that Cooper Kupp was gone for a little bit, but I think once he comes back, they'll all even out. I don't think any of them end up in the top 12 receivers. If they do, that means that a bunch of other receivers just completely fell off. Guys like Adam Thielen fell off. Guys like who's in like T.Y. Hilton, Keenan Allen. If those guys fall off, then sure, these guys can jump into that top 12 conversation. But Cooper Kupp over those two, I think they're almost all identical in value. So you definitely could. But in terms of consistency, Cooper Kupp's coming off an ACL injury, MCL torn as well. So that's a little bit sketchy. But from what we've seen in the couple practices that they've had, he's running at full speed. So I'm not really concerned there. But yeah, I wouldn't mind. I'm a Cooper Kupp fan, diehard. Man, have you guys heard how many yards Cooper Kupp had in college? Hold up, Cooper Kupp's college stats are some of the most disgusting stuff I've ever seen. All right. No, that's not it. Where's his college? Small school guy. Eastern Washington or whatever the hell he played at. Where's his stats? All right. In his 4 years at Eastern Washington, the guy had 6,400 receiving yards. 6,400. He had 428 receptions, 6,464 receiving yards, and how many touchdowns? Where is he at? And why doesn't it have his touchdown count? That's unfortunate. The Eastern Washington website doesn't want to spit out more stats. Thanks. But either way, dude is... Actually, hold on. Let me see. Is this one going to give me the stats? But either way, I'm 100% certain that he had some crazy stats. All right, moving on. I think he's like one of the all-time leading receivers in college football history. It's some crazy stat. Thoughts on Devontae Freeman with the 28th overall pick? I'm assuming that's what you mean. Tristan Wolf. 28th overall pick, so at the, in the middle of the third? Or early third? Yeah, I like that. I think it obviously depends what kind of format you play in, like when it comes to scoring and teams. But at the 28th pick, if you play in like a 14-team league, I'm sure that'll be decent. But in a 12-team league, 10-man league, yeah, in the third round, Devontae Freeman could be decent. I personally probably go for other guys depending on what's available. I probably rather want... I don't know. It just depends because he's going to get a lot of work in the passing game. He's done it in seasons prior, so he's more enticing than like a Marlon Mack, who's not going to get as much work in the passing game. But at the same time, his injury history scares people. But no, 28, not bad. Hey Andrew, leading Dalvin Cook or Nick Chubb? I go Dalvin Cook. To be honest, Hazelnut. I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't even know what I said, Lawrence. Let me scroll up. What did Lawrence say? Fantasy team name? Yeah, okay, cool. All right, good. As long as we're on the same point. The Professional Gentlemen of Leisure Superflex Fantasy Football League. What? I love Fantasy or Superflex, by the way. So you had me at Superflex. You had me at hello. If anybody knows that movie reference, please type it down below because it's a good movie. Hey, Andrew, thanks for all the videos you've done. I found you last year, and your insight is super helpful. Thank you. You know what, guys? I forgot to mention we hit 5,000 subscribers, baby. Woo! I forgot to mention that. It took about 2 hours, but Andrew figured it out. Somehow we got to 5,000 subscribers. Thank you, everybody. Whoever's in this chat, much appreciated, all of you. Thank you again. It's an amazing feat that we've accomplished. And to more subscribers, right? Sounds good to me. Thank you again, guys. Much appreciated. All right, let's see here. And thank you for the kind words, Thomas. Let's see here. I'm out, Andrew. Okay, thank you, TT. Great stuff. A few Sunday night, Monday during the season. What's it? Did this a few Sunday nights and Monday. Mondays usually are waiver wire days. Sunday nights, I don't know. We'll see. No, but definitely we got to do this more often, especially during the season. Let's see here. DeAndre Hopkins is the only wide receiver worth a first-round pick. What? Jonathan, what are you talking about? Come on. Devontae Adams, baby. Devontae Adams for sure is worth a first-round pick. It's not even close. Unless you play in a standard league, he's for sure worth a first-round pick. Let's see here. Love you guys. Thanks, Drew. No problem, John Richardson. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Adams way better than Hopkins. That's what I'm talking about, baby. My soldiers are are coming out of the woodwork. Kupp is the clutch wide receiver. Yeah, no. There's a stat that I found that Cooper Kupp on third down situations, I think, was targeted more than. Oh, man, I don't remember what it was. I definitely wrote it down somewhere. It's somewhere in that thing, but I don't want to have to reopen it up. But yes, Cooper Kupp is extremely good. Let's see here. I like Woods. He's healthy. Robert Woods? Oh, as in he doesn't have much injury concern? Yeah, no. A couple weeks back, I did the wide receiver rankings. I had Robert Woods at number 12? 11? I don't know, something like that. But as of right now, he's dropped a little bit. I've had my concerns with this Rams offense, so everything's kind of changing around a little bit. But Jerry Maguire, baby, woohoo! Brandon Warmack coming in, that's what I'm talking about. And then Robert just right after, baby, whoo, good shit. That's what I like to see, guys. Thank you very much. All right. Cooper Kupp college stat? No. It was way more than that. There's no way. Okay, now I actually have to open this up. Now you made me do it. Okay. Now I have to no longer be lazy and I gotta go find his stats. I don't know what the hell I opened up last time, but it's definitely more than that. I'm almost positive Jonathan Maguire. All right, let's see here. Under 2 minutes to go in the second quarter, a Super Bowl, down 3 points, driving the ball, 2 timeouts. Quarterback gets sacked, but you don't use a timeout. Question mark? Or are you asking me? I don't know. Then make a pass, show down for... Wait, I don't understand. Okay, hold up. Let me find this Cooper Kupp stat. And Brandon, I'm coming back to you as soon as possible. All right, where's this Cooper Kupp nonsense? Where are you, Cooper? Where the hell is my NFC West? There we go, Cooper Kupp. All right, in his 4 seasons at Eastern Washington, he had 428 receptions for 6,464 yards and 73 receiving touchdowns in 4 years. So, Jonathan, I don't know where you're getting yours, but hey, you could be right, but I'm almost positive mine's right. Okay, anyway, close this. Okay, under 2 minutes to go in the second quarter of the Super Bowl. That's fine. Down 3 points. Are you trying to roast me? Is this like a Rams meme or some shit? Down 3 points, driving the ball, 2 timeouts. Your quarterback gets sacked. You don't use a timeout. Then you make a short pass for a first down and still no timeout. Well, under 2 minutes to go, if your quarterback gets sacked, why wouldn't you call a timeout? I don't understand. Listen, are we playing Madden here? Because if we're playing, I actually haven't played Madden in so long. God, it's been maybe 8 months since I played Madden. I don't understand, Brandon. I don't understand what I'm supposed to. Should I tell you what you're supposed to do? Let me tell you this. So if your quarterback gets sacked when it's under 2 minutes, and it depends what down it is. If it's third down, you're 100% have to. I mean, actually, I think if it's even first down, you're not coming up and trying to spike the ball and waste it down. I think you just use one of the timeouts and then eventually try to get downfield and then either go for that field goal and use that timeout to kind of stop the clock. But I don't know. Let's see here. We're moving on. Congrats on 5K. Thank you very much, everybody. Much appreciated. Sell the draft kits for $5. They will sell like hotcakes. No competition at that price. Yeah, but I've spent so many hours. I don't know. It depends. Listen, if a bunch of people will tell me they will buy it for $5, I would consider it. But I've literally spent the last 4 months every day after work, like 3 hours, like just nodding in fucking info. Maybe I got to show you what I have so that you think, okay, maybe it is worth more than $5. But I don't know. We'll see. The price range it's adjustable because we're not there yet. All right, moving on. I subbed, click the bell. Thank you very much, Triggered. Much appreciated. Adams better than Hopkins? Yep. No. No one said he's better than him. I don't think he's a better receiver than Hopkins, but I think in fantasy he's a better receiver in 2019. That's all I'm saying. Thoughts on Kenyon Drake? He was underutilized last year. If he's the lead back of that team, could be good. But let's be honest, what do defenses have to worry about with the Dolphins? They have two quarterbacks that I don't know is it going to be Fitzmagic or is it going to be Rosen? If it's Rosen, that team is an absolute mess offensively. They don't really have any receivers. Kenny Stills, he's injured. Albert Wilson coming off an injury. Devontae Parker, that offense is a mess. So he's probably the only bright light when it comes to fantasy from that team. He has probably a pretty good chance of being an RB2. So those are my thoughts on him. I'm just a little concerned on what other value, because I expect other teams to stack the box and just murk him every down because there's nothing else for them to have to worry about. Sure, Albert Wilson will go over the top, but I'm sure teams are going to be willing to live or die by that. Congrats on the 5K. Your videos are extremely informative. Thank you very much, John. Let's see here. This is a basic draft layout right now. David Johnson at the 8th pick, Julio Jones at 13th, Devontae Freeman 28th, Aaron Jones, Marlon Mack, Henry with the 33rd. Any thoughts? Fantastic. I like it. There's no way that Marlon Mack is taken with the 33rd pick. Is there a chance? Actually, I think it might go before. Maybe not. Honestly, if that's your first 4 picks, you go Johnson, Julio, Devontae, and then you can follow with either Aaron Jones or Marlon Mack. Preferably, I'd probably either way. It doesn't matter. Don't go Derrick Henry. I think that's a pretty good team. Tristan, that's pretty solid right there. Okay, let's see here. What did Brent? Okay, Andrew and everyone, go watch YouTube 2 minutes to go second quarter. Is that a video? Is that what it's called? Okay, I got to scroll up because I messed up and I got caught here. Okay, my riddle is above Jerry Maguire. Yeah, I saw it, but I don't understand it. Is it a riddle or am I don't understand. Okay, hold up. Let me see here. Adams, Hopkins are both worth a first-round pick. Both are top wide receivers. Adams was a steal last year in the 4th. You got Adams in the 4th? Excuse me? I had to spend second-round picks for his ass. What are you doing getting him in the 4th? Are you kidding me? Oh, my God. He was a second-round pick easily last season. You must have been just racking in the money last year, Thomas. Jeez. Watching out for Valdez-Scantling. Could turn into the Randall Cobb role. To be honest, could. I think, I don't even know. Can you really put Valdez-Scantling in the slot? Potentially. If they put Geronimo Allison on the outside, he could be in the slot. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see here. Got my stance from YouTube video, LOL. Okay. Well, listen. I don't know. I got my stats from an article, Jonathan. The Cooper Kupp receiving stats. So I don't know. Maybe the YouTube video's accounting for 3 seasons only. Maybe his last 3 seasons, but I don't know. Warmack. What do you say, my dude? Let's see here. That's what the Rams did in the Super Bowl. Damn it, I knew it. You just had, there's a wound. It's still open, and then you just have to get some salt and just and then get the lemon, and then you really have to dig in there, huh? McVay is smarter than that. Of course he's smarter than that. The dude just, it happens. You learn over time. I'm sure he has nightmares about it. Let's see. No idea if it's legit or not. I don't think it is. I think he really had 6,400 receiving yards in 4 seasons. The dude was ridiculous. I mean, he played at a small school. He was literally the only wide receiver on the team. He just scorched defenders. Let's see here. That's what McVay. Yeah, of course. I knew it was a Rams meme, dude. I knew it was a Rams meme. You just had to do it to me, Brandon. Let's see here. Who's your best option? Third running back, assuming top 15 are gone. All right, Andrew's got to open up. What the hell? Let me move some stuff real quick. All right, assuming that the top 15 are gone. But look, what is the top 15? What is the top 15? Miniman Gaming. What's the top 15? There's no objective top 15 rankings right now. Everyone has something different. But just looking off of what's in front of me in the Fantasy Pro site, let me go to the running backs. Outside of the top 15, the best guys available, Aaron Jones, Devontae Freeman, Kerryon Johnson, Josh Jacobs. Those are 4 guys that I like a lot. Derrick Henry sits out. No, don't want him. Sony Michel is a sketch bag, but we'll see. Philip Lindsay, I don't know if he's going to continue to split snaps with Royce Freeman because that also is worrisome. Yeah, but the best option outside of the top 15 as of right now, it's either Aaron Jones or Devontae Freeman. And then close behind them is Kerryon Johnson, Josh Jacobs, as of right now. Let's see here. I'm right. I'm not always right. Okay. I'm not going to fucking gloat. I'm playing Madden right now. Hey, there you go, Tick. Dude, I used to play so much Ultimate Team. I'm not even kidding. I used to be one of those people that would spend no money and somehow manage to get 10 million coins because I used to grind so much. When I was in college and I didn't have to fucking do anything other than come home, bullshit, and then go to work and then come back, I would just play until fucking, I don't even know, 3 a.m. I would just completely the solo challenges would just get murked. And then I just work the market on Ultimate Team, dude. Oh, man. The good old days. Not really. That game is cancer at some points. Okay, let's see here. Andrew and everyone go watch. Okay, so I'll go watch that, Brandon. And then I'll go ahead and cry myself to sleep after I watch the offense completely just sputter and destroy itself. Where are we at here? All right, we're scrolling. What's your outlook on David Montgomery? You feel he'll outproduce Howard when he was the guy that... Howard did no service to himself last season. Howard was awful. For the amount of touches he had 250 touches total last season. He was all right at the running back position. That sucks. If you're going to give a guy 250 touches, you're going to hope he's going to figure it out. And I think Montgomery's capable. Just looking at what he was able to do in college and then just watching David Montgomery's film, dude has one of the most disgusting one cuts I have seen in a while. But looking at what he did in college, the guy in college had 300 plus carries, 300 plus touches. So his body might be broken down by the time he comes into the NFL. I don't know how it's looking, but that's my only concern is he going to be able to sustainably play a good amount of seasons, or is his body going to break down on him? Because running backs, you can only carry the ball 300 times, consecutive seasons for so long until your body breaks down. But I think he's going to outproduce Howard from last season. And if he does, he's going to be an RB2. And I think that's what he's trending towards. But the thing is, if he's given the opportunity, if he can get those 250 touches, sure. But if Tariq Cohen's used a lot in the rushing game, here and there on third downs, give him a couple draws or a couple sweeps, or if Mike Davis is given, 6-7 touches a game, that's a little worrisome. And could hurt Montgomery's potential for the end of the season. Let's see here. Thank you again for the question, guys. Let's see here. First down, receivers inbound. Don't use timeout situation. Oh, okay, you guys are talking about that thing. Cooks caught it in the middle of the field, tried running up to the line. Why not call a timeout? Because they're idiots. I don't know, man. I don't know how to explain it to you. I don't understand. Look, here's the thing. I'm not going to tell Sean McVay how to do his job because he's pretty good at his job. But at the same time, everybody makes mistakes. And that specific one, the only problem was, sure, okay, let's say you go and you score a field goal there or you score a touchdown there. I don't think that the Rams win that game either way. Even if they're up at halftime, I don't think they win that game. I have a hard time thinking that they're able to score on that Patriots defense, considering how bad they were running the ball, and on top of it, Goff just threw the game away. Okay. My top 15, dude, I don't even have a top 15 right now. My top 15 changes every day at every position. I'm not even kidding. If someone sneezes the wrong way, they move down a tier. I'm not even playing. Like, no, honestly, I haven't solidified a full thing yet because I'm getting there. It'll eventually happen, but off the top of my head, because here's the thing. My opinion, I like Aaron Jones enough to where I might put him at 15. So then, okay, what's outside of the top 15 for Andrew? Outside of the top 15, the best running backs are probably like Phillip Lindsay's, or is Freeman outside the top 15 for me? He might be. I don't know. But I don't even have a top 15 at the moment, to be honest, because it changes so damn often. I'm not hating on you here, Andrew. It makes it more obvious how it's rigged. Wait, what do you mean? I don't understand what that means. I'm not hating on your Andrew. It makes it more obvious how it's rigged. What's rigged? NFL is rigged? What are we talking about? Super Bowl is rigged? Oh, no, Brandon. No. Enough with this conspiracy shit, dude. Enough. No. Now we're going to say the aliens are real or something? All right. Moving on. Grade this trade. 8-man league. 2 QB league. I love it. All right, let's see here. Team A gets Zeke. Okay. Cooks, Boyd. Team 2 gets Hopkins, Evans, Carson. Team A lineup has Goff, Kyler Murray, Zeke, Kamara. Hold up. So you want to trade away. Okay, so Team A wants to trade away Zeke, Cooks, and Boyd for Hopkins, Evans, and Carson. You have Kamara. You have Montgomery and you have Aaron Jones. You have Brandon Cooks. You have Robert Woods as your receivers. You want to upgrade those with, I don't know. Because what's the point of going and getting Evans and Hopkins if you have Woods and Cooks? Why don't you just trade away like one of those two guys? And, oh no, you're trading Cooks away. Oh man, okay, I'm blind. There's too many names here. Zeke, Cooks, Boyd. Oh, man. I have a hard time trading away Zeke. But to be honest, I think it's... is this a PPR league? That's my question. Benjamin, let me see. Team B has Wentz, Dak, Josh Jacobs, Carson, Hopkins, Adams. Oh, my God. Who's Team B? And okay, so Team B can get... Oh, my God. Team B is trading the... Interesting. I think it's kind of close in my eyes. Because but Boyd's... Top 12... Two top 12 wide receivers and a top 24 running back for literally, potentially the number one running back. And then looking at his team, he already has Adams and Michael Thomas. No. I don't think this trade should even happen. Okay, I'll get to it in a second. But I don't think that trade should happen. I think Team B doesn't even need a trade. Or if they do, just trade... Oh my God, Team B has got stacked wide receivers. Holy moly. That's why he's going for Zeke. So if Team B can trade away Hopkins... Honestly, Team B probably wins because they get Zeke. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. The Rangers got traded or signed? Hazelnut. Which one is it? Andrew Haupt. 12th. Okay. Half PPR. 10 spot. What do I snag? Wait. 12-man super flex. Half PPR. Okay. Perfect. At the 10 spot, who should I snag up? A QB or best available? I think you go with the best available. And then on the way back, because you have the 10th pick, you can potentially go quarterback then. Now, if Philip, if you're like really high on a guy like Luck or Mahomes and you have to have him on roster, sure, you could take him in the first round. But I think you just have to know what the guys at the end of your draft kind of want to do. But obviously, you might be playing with random people. But if you can anticipate that, hey, they're not going to go with a quarterback, you take the best available player, whether it's a running back or a wide receiver, and then you can come back and if you really want a quarterback, take him then. Or you can wait on guys like Matt Ryan, perhaps in the third or fourth round, and then lock him up with, I don't know, Drew Brees in like the sixth. I don't know. Go watch my 2QB video. It kind of gives you an idea on like where to draft him or what to target. But specifically, I would probably take best available. I love Superflex, but I do not personally like taking quarterbacks in the first round. I think it's a little too early, especially how much value there is there. But then again, you could go back-to-back quarterbacks for all I know. Go Andrew Luck and Patrick Mahomes and just run the league and just kill people because your quarterbacks are throwing 3 touchdowns a week each. Durant, Kyrie, DeAndre Jordan, all to the Brooklyn Nets. Thank you very much, James, for the info. That's interesting. Here's the thing. That team's not going to be good for a while. DeAndre Jordan, I mean, what has DeAndre Jordan done in the last couple of years, right? Since he left the Clippers, DeAndre Jordan's just been an average, like, okay, he can't even shoot free throws still. Like, what are we doing? He got traded, he was free agent. Okay, cool. Let's see here. What are we doing? Scrolling a little bit. Oops. Don't follow basketball. So, okay. Yeah, but Keely's good. Malcolm Brown, total. Really? Malcolm Brown? Like the third string running back of the Rams? Third string? He's not a sleeper. Darrell Henderson, he's an All-American last year. There's a reason why they drafted him to follow up Todd Gurley. I think, if anything, Malcolm Brown's the third string running back on this team. So, I don't know. As of right now, I don't even see him getting many carries, to be honest. He might even be inactive on some weeks. Why do you hate Derrick Henry? I don't hate Derrick Henry. I just know for a fact that his statistics are they're oversaturated at points. Like I mentioned earlier, in the final 4 weeks of the regular season, weeks 13 through 17 last year, okay, he had 115 point something fantasy points in half PPR. In the last 4 weeks, had 115 fantasy points, 8 touchdowns in 4 weeks. That's not sustainable because in the 12 weeks prior, he only scored 64 fantasy points. So, was it 64? Oh, no. What are we doing? What the hell am I doing? Let me find it. I had it somewhere here. I have to keep open. I need dual monitors. Honestly, I got to buy a new monitor and just have it off to the side. I had it right here. Let me go find it. Click some buttons here. In the first 12 weeks of the season last year, Derrick Henry had, and I quote, where is Derrick? He had 78 fantasy points in the first 12 weeks. Is this half PPR? What kind of stat did I have? All right, now I got to go back to Google Docs and find my stat. All right, what's the next question? I'll tell you about why I hate Derrick Henry in about 2 seconds. Pull up the video from the Super Bowl. Watch it for all of us. Discern together. Look, here's the thing. I don't know how it works. If I pull up a YouTube video while I'm live streaming, I don't want to get like copyright infringement of some sort. I don't know how it works, to be honest. Brandon, if you can give me more information on that, then I'd consider it. You taking David Johnson or Melvin Gordon? I feel like David Johnson could be the potential best player in fantasy. Yeah, he could be. Honestly, I've really struggled with those two a lot, even specifically today, because of the fact that David Johnson in a new offense could be good. He was a top 12 running back last season. And then the issue with Melvin Gordon is his injury history that we don't know whether or not it's going to pan out. But as of right now, I've flip-flopped very often between the two. Okay. Let me find this stat. Okay. So, in the first 11 games of the 20... This is the last time I'm talking about Derrick Henry today. All right? This is the last time. In the first 11 games of the 2018 season, he scored 76.16 fantasy points. In the last... from weeks 13 to 17, right? So what is that? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 5 games. Okay? First 11, the last 5 games. He scored 115 points. 8 touchdowns, 5 weeks. The fact that you can literally double your fantasy points, 11 games, 5 games. In the 5 games, he doubled his 11-game production. Why? Because it just oversaturated. He ran a train on the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. That kind of stuff, that doesn't happen for Derrick Henry on a weekly basis. There's a reason why he was outsnapped and at times out-carried by Dion Lewis for majority of the season. So I don't trust it. I think his last 5 games, sure, he could potentially come out and be a 13-point running back a week, but he's not going to be a guy that is, and even with that, 13 points a week, there's going to be weeks where he just disappears. He's not going to find the end zone. They're going to completely just stack the box against him, because as soon as he comes into the lineup, or at least when he gets onto the field, what is the defense expecting? They're expecting them to run the ball. They're going to stack the box. All right. I'm done with Derrick Henry. I'm tired of it. NFL definitely rigged. That being said, who would you take first at the 5th spot? Redraft 12 team. Literally, that's exactly the conversation we're having. It's either David Johnson or Melvin Gordon, and it's a coin toss as of right now. Whether it's half, full PPR doesn't really matter. I think either of them are really good options. Man, I've said Melvin Gordon. I've said David Johnson. It's a toss-up. It really is which you prefer. It's super close in my eyes. All right, we've been doing this for 2 hours. I want to stop talking for a little bit. So what I'm going to do is probably get off in a little bit. Let's try to catch up on these questions, and then I'm going to make my way downtown and go get something to eat. Let's see here. What do you think of Amari Cooper? Amari Cooper is almost identical to Derrick Henry. There's two specific games in which Amari Cooper scored 30-plus fantasy points and 40-plus fantasy points, 70 points in 2 games. That basically just skyrocketed his fantasy value, because people just look at the end of season stats and they think, this guy's great. He must have, oh my God, look what he did while he was in Dallas. He had 100 yards per game, blah, blah. It's completely blown out of proportions. I think when you have such big fantasy weeks, it's fine. That's great. But when you show up the next couple weeks and you're putting out 6, 5, 6 points per week in fantasy, I just have a hard time trusting you. So Amari Cooper, he's a mid-tier, probably mid, low end. No, definitely not mid. He's a low-end wide receiver too for me, as of right now. Could change. You never know. Every decade team has won Super Bowl 3 times. 70s Steelers, 80s 49ers, 90s Cowboys, 2010 to 19. Last year made it 3 for the Patriots. It's rigged. Is it rigged or is it coincidence? Are those not just dynasties? I don't know. That's interesting. I have not heard that stat before. That's interesting. Very interesting. If you told me that the NBA was rigged, I'd probably believe that more. But that's a different conversation. Okay, moving on. Or if you told me that like those tournaments that people play video games are rigged, I could believe that also. Okay, we switched to 6 point per passing touchdown, 4 point for a fumble and an interception. Wow, okay, you guys are going hardcore. Still 2 for a sack. What? We all like it and doing it again? What? I don't understand. You guys need to talk in some complete sentences. Dean, I don't understand. We switched to 6 point quarterback, okay? 6 point per passing touchdown. And 4 point for a fumble or an interception. So if you throw interception or fumble, you lose 4 points. Great. Still 2 or 4 sack. I don't know what that means. If your quarterback gets sacked, you lose 2 points? Or are we talking about defenses? It actually makes defense more interesting. Oh, is that what you're talking about? So, yeah, you are talking about defense. Okay, I just read that. Okay. So your defenses are getting 4 points for fumble recovery or an interception? You got to be kidding me. Or 2 points for a sack? Damn, son. That makes the Bears defense like actually some top tier shit. All right. Let me see if I can get through these questions, because honestly, I need lozenges. My fucking throat is messed up now. I've been talking for too long. Let's see here. Second, I don't know how those people do it on radio. You know what the thing is? They have like 6 other people in the damn studio, and the other people can talk for a little bit. Andrew's got to do everything here. I might have to do a thing where you guys can like call in on Discord and somebody else can talk for me, to be honest. And you can ask questions, over the Discord call or whatever. But anyway, if you're just showing a snippet for educational purposes, not rebroadcasting the entire video. I get it. Let's see here. Second round, Damian Williams. Too early? No, it's not too early. It's perfectly fine. Second round? Yeah. I think that's where he's going right now. So that's perfectly fine, Johnny. Fugazi. Yeah, no, it's a pretty good value for him right now, second round. What do you think of the value of O.J. Howard? I think O.J. Howard's great. Injury history, I don't really care about. I think as long as Cameron Brate doesn't see the field very often, O.J. Howard can be great, especially because of the fact that there's no longer an Adam Humphries, there's no longer Deshaun Jackson there. There's obviously available targets for guys like Evans, who already gets too many targets, and then there's Chris Godwin and O.J. Howard that 100% have a little bit more upside because of the fact that those guys are no longer there eating up 120 plus targets. So O.J. Howard should be great. I think right now he's my number 4 or 5 tight end. I think as of right now, gun to my head, he's probably the number 4 tight end in fantasy. And that's pretty much what he was last season in the games that he played. I think he played for like 10 games, 10 weeks, something like that. He was a he was a tight end one almost every single week, and he was up there in points. Let's see here. NFL is a business, sports entertainment. Sports entertainment is fucking wrestling. So unless we got storylines like that, maybe, Vince McMahon, when he makes his NFL or his XFL, that's going to be the rigged stuff. That's the storyline stuff. Okay, thanks for answering. Look forward to the content this season. Thank you very much. Thielen Machine. Let's see. The Lean Machine. I don't know why I said Thielen. I'm hooked on a Thielen. Okay, moving on. Okay. Taking T.Y. Hilton or Marlon Mack in the third round. Marlon Mack. T.Y. Hilton, he's going to be decent wide receiver. He could be top 12. It depends what else you have. If you need a wide receiver, then go T.Y., but I like Marlon. Marlon Mack's going to score more touchdowns. He'll probably have similar yards. I'll go Marlon Mack. Yeah, give me Marlon Mack over T.Y. Hilton in the third round. I'm out, Andrew. Cheers. Thank you, Brandon. Much appreciated, dude. Have a good one. Love your content. Been watching since last year. Much appreciated, Dr. Mr. Good News. Thank you very much. All right, guys. I've gotten to the bottom here. If you got any more questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I'm ready to dip out of here. I'm tired. It's hot in my house. I know the air is barely on. I think I need to open up the vent, but actually it's kind of open. You kind of see it. Bruce Simmons asks, I draft mainly on value as opposed to strategy. In my opinion, there are only a few tight ends that I put up wide receiver 2 numbers weekly. What's the earliest you would draft a tight end and who? It really depends on what kind of team you're looking to make, because let's say, for example, Tyreek Hill is suspended for 8 games this coming season, right? Travis Kelce instantly he's going in the second round, maybe even late first round in some leagues. So Travis Kelce would jump in value. Now, Zach Ertz and George Kittle on that hand, those guys are probably going around the third round, probably in majority of leagues, which I think is way too high, in my opinion. So, am I willing to take a premium tight end? I'd be willing to take a premium tight end if they fell to me to the 4th round. Because typically with my first 3 picks in a normal league in which there's only one quarterback starting, I typically want to have like either double running back, wide receiver, a wide receiver, running back, one of those combinations in which I have at least 2 running backs and a wide receiver. That's what I want. And I'm not willing to go and take Kittle over a potential wide receiver 1 because, Kittle, I've talked about him in the past. Sure, he had a great season, but who else was there to pass to last season? Marcus Goodwin was injured. Dante Pettis was injured for some of that season. What other receiving options were there? Nick Mullins had to find someone, and he found George Kittle for majority of the time. Now, would Jimmy Garoppolo figure it out? Sure. I'm sure he'll feed Kittle, but I don't think he's going to be like a top 12 wide receiver when you can get a top 12 wide receiver within the third round or the first 3 rounds potentially. So tight end wise, unless one of them falls to the 4th, I'm not really worried about it. I'd probably try to look for a guy like maybe, I mean, listen, if you wait for a guy like OJ Howard or Evan Ingram and you can grab him in the, I don't even want him in this. I don't want tight ends. I legit don't want tight ends. It's hard, but I don't want tight ends. I think at the value that they're going for, it doesn't help. I'd rather just wait and draft a guy like Vance McDonald in like the 8th round or 9th round and be okay with it. And then draft like Jack Doyle and have a 2, and then I just play on matchups. Appreciate it, boy. No problem. All right, let's see here. Everyone watch YouTube. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's see here. Rams pass Super Bowl. That is. Thanks, Brandon. Let's see. I'm in a 10-team ESPN PPR. I took Kelsey in the 2nd, Howard in the 6th, just because of value. But here's the thing. Are you going to start them both? Are you going to if you can put OJ Howard in the flex, sure. But here's the thing. Can we trust a tight end in the flex? When was the last time a tight end was 10 plus points a week and actually not even 10 plus. 10 plus points a week is actually pretty doable. But in the flex, yeah, no, it could work. If you throw him in the flex, it could work. Philip Lindsay or Chris Carson in the 3rd round. I'd say neither. But here's the thing. How are they going in the 3rd round? That's my question, Shelton. Are they really going in the 3rd round? I have a hard time believing that they go in the 3rd. No, there's no way they go in the 3rd round. Unless you're playing like a keeper league or something of that sort, I don't. How could they go in the 3rd? But if I have to answer, Philip Lindsay or Chris Carson in the 3rd, I'll probably go with. Wow, it's kind of sort of tough to be honest because they're pretty much identical values. They both have running backs sitting behind them. I'll take Chris Carson personally because of the fact that just looking at their offenses and how they're built, I don't really like the Broncos offense very much. I'd rather just have the Seahawks offense, especially considering how much they ran the ball last year and the fact that no matter whether or not Rashad Penny is gets more touches. He's surely going to get more touches, but Chris Carson's still going to get his for sure. So I'll go with Carson on that. Okay, I'm going to wait like 3 more minutes. If nobody else asks a question and I don't ramble off, I'm done here. Thank you everybody for watching. If you missed any of the earlier part of this video, I will definitely be posting this on my channel so you guys can go watch back on some of the questions and some of the crazy shit I was saying. But anyway, thank you everybody for watching. It says there's like 38 people watching. I highly doubt that. There's no way. Is there? Maybe there is. Maybe the guy that was playing Madden as of right now, he's probably playing a weekend league and he's just spamming game and I'm just open in the background talking. If that's the case, then I need you to do me a favor on this next play. Go to formations, go to concept and go to double moves. And then there's this one double move that's like a glitch play almost. And that's what I remember from Madden, by the way. All right, thoughts on Keenan Allen. Should be a low-end wide receiver 1 this season. The thing is, comparatively to 2017, in 2018 he had a pretty significant decrease in targets, which pretty much affected him fantasy-wise. But let's be honest, Keenan Allen is a possession receiver, meaning he's going to catch the ball, close to, or at least he's going to get about 120 targets. He should have over 100 receptions. He's going to get 1,000 plus yards, and then he's going to have a handful of touchdowns. Now, last season, his handful of touchdowns came back to back to back. There was 5 weeks in a row in which he caught a touchdown, and that pretty much lifted fantasy teams to try to get into the playoffs, really. So other than that, I think he's a low-end wide receiver 1. We know what he's going to get. He's been doing it his entire career. 100 receptions, 1,000 yards, 6 plus touchdowns here, give or take. So as of right now, pretty good. Let's see here. Bro, enjoy your super. What? What does that mean? Mike Drummond, please explain. Let's see here. Start 1 running back, wide receiver, tight end, 3 flex, 14-team league. Go 0 RB. No, why would you go 0 RB? Eric Mack, tell me, is your league a PPR? Because that's really what the question is at this point. Yeah, that's the question at this point. If your league is a full PPR, then okay, you might, you could potentially just go with 3 wide receivers as your first 3 picks, but I don't think you have to go 0 RB. You can draft 4. Oh yeah, you can draft 4 running backs for all I know. So yeah, you don't have to. Bro, I'm really playing weekend league. Yeah, I know it, dude. Listen, you guys think I don't. Listen, I'm a clairvoyant, dude. That's why I do this shit. I'm just kidding. But nah, honestly, I know you're playing weekend league because my little cousin plays weekend league and he complains all the damn time. He'll just quit as soon as I don't know. At this point, when everyone has 99 teams in Madden, it just becomes a mess. It's just a glitch factory. Whose pass rush is better? Or who gets the block sheds or the nanos? Let's see here. Always enjoy hearing. Enjoy the meal downtown. Thank you very much, plus DT. Let's see. Robinson asks, thoughts on Kelce without Hill? He honestly could shift into the first round. If Hill has a prolonged suspension, Kelce's going to go in I wouldn't mind taking Kelce as at like the 12th spot. Let's say I'm in a 12-team league, half full PPR, doesn't matter. At the 12th spot, I wouldn't mind going Travis Kelce and then like Julio Jones or following it up with a running back that I specifically like depending on who's available. I think considering on what Kelce was able to accomplish last season, going into this year, if Hill's not there for a while, he is the number. I mean, Kelce is already the number 1 receiver there. Based on yards, no, but based on targets, receptions, he is. So, I would think he would jump into the first round, Robinson. Let's see here. If you had to bet who would take the win this year's Super Bowl, dude, I don't even want to guess. I've thought about this a lot. But like, if I had to bet at this very moment in time, like, why wouldn't I pick the Patriots, right? But honestly, I don't know. I have no clue. Okay, so Eric says yes, PPR. So it depends where you pick, Eric. If you pick at if you have one of the first 4 picks, right, you're obviously going to go with one of the first 4 running backs, right? And even if you perhaps even have the 5th or 6th pick, you might consider going David Johnson. But to be honest, anywhere past like the 7th or 8th pick, you can go ahead and if Devontae Adams or DeAndre Hopkins, either or, are available, that's a solid first-round pick. Now, if it comes back and the best available player is a wide receiver and people are just kind of stacked up on running back, you can go ahead and wait on running back. But I wouldn't 100% say just like tunnel into the 0 RB strategy. I understand it looks like it can be pretty good, but I don't know as of right now. I think full PPR. Oh man, I'm trying to think. Full PPR. Who can you get in that second round? Yeah, I don't know. I think 0 RB could work, but you have to not have one of the first 4 picks. Let's see here. Okay, did I scroll too much? All right. It says I got 2 picks in the 3rd round. Okay. That's why. All right, that's why you were asking Philip Lindsay or Chris Carson. I mean, if there's people that are better, sure. But I think both those guys, I think there's no way that they're going in the 3rd. But hey, if they end up and those are the best available running backs, sure. I think that both are pretty good. Philip Lindsay, again, let's not forget, he was a top 12 running back last season in half PPR. So definitely could figure it out there. Let's see here. Did I play college football? No, I didn't actually want to. I had an opportunity to play D2. Had no interest. It was D1 or bust for me. So after the fact that, listen, I'm 6'1". At the end of high school, I was about like 260 something. So I was either going to play center because I played guard tackle a little bit, but in high school. But unless I wanted to play center in a D2 school, I was like, I don't even want to play center. And it was going from California to like North Dakota to play D2. I was like, I'd rather just go to a good college in California and just chill. So I was like, there's no point. But I'm sure if you go look up my name, you can find some high school football highlights. The film is awful, as in like the quality, but I'm just pancaking fools left and right. Let's see here. But thanks for the question. Jay Days, is Damian Williams going to be a 3rd down back? Yeah, why wouldn't he be? That was exactly what he was used for last season. I don't think Carlos Hyde is going to be able to, work that downage. So Damian Williams should be a 3-down back. Yeah. I think he should be. I think if we look at snap counts, let me see here. I just got to open up another tab and move it around a little bit. All right, let's see here. So if we look at snap counts from last season, I'm going to go check out the snap counts for the Kansas City Chiefs and the end of the season. So Damian Williams last season, in games in which, so the last 3 games of the regular season, he played 73%, 64%, and 52% of the offensive snaps. Who did he lose snaps to? He lost a lot to Darrell Williams, who at times could have been used as a receiving back. Charkandrick West, who they signed but didn't really get much done there. To be honest, I expect Damian Williams to be a 3-down back. Outside of him and Carlos Hyde, they drafted a rookie. I don't think those guys are viable enough as of right now from what I've seen to be getting any work in that the 3rd down range. But they could here and there come in the 1st, 2nd down and take some carries. I just doubt it. I think Damian Williams, there's a reason why they upped him on his contract. They signed him for an extra 2 years. I think he could probably be their quarterback or running back of the future for right now until they maybe find some other guy that they're interested in. 8-man PPR, 8th pick. Would you go running back, or would you like to go Devontae Adams? Okay, it depends. It's PPR. Oh my God. I'd go Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins back to back. I would. I'm not full PPR, 100%. Sudor Gaming, yes, 100%. I'd go if those 2 wide receivers are available. Give me them back to back. But let's say if it's one of them, sure, take one of them and then follow with the running back. A guy like James Conner could be available as well at that kind of point where so you go like. Let's say Devontae Adams falls to you. You go Adams, you follow it up with like a Connor. Maybe Mixon has fallen to you. That'd be fantastic. And then you're pretty much set there. So that's pretty good. Thanks for the answer. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, no problem. Where do you draft Damian Williams? He's probably sitting at as of right now, what did I rank him a couple weeks back in my running back rankings? I think it was a couple weeks. It was like a month, 2 months ago almost. I had him at like 12. I think I like him at the 12, maybe a little bit earlier, maybe like I think he's going to be a top 12 running back next season. I truly think so. So if he's the 11th running back to come off the board and I'm taking him, I don't mind. So where do I draft him? In the 2nd round? Preferably, yes. I'll take him in the 2nd round. I played JUCO in Cali while I was D1 or bust for me too. Yeah, no, that's usually how it works. But here's the thing, like, there are, like, especially when I'm trying to play, like, O-line, like, if I tried to play D-line, it probably would have been easier because of the fact of just on stature, offensive linemen are typically, 6'4" plus in college and football. So, like, I was just like, all right, I'm too undersized. For high school, I'm perfect. But, no, for, like, JUCOs, yeah, no, there's some monsters out there. There's some, like, 6'9" tackles that I played with, even in high school. Yeah, in high school. But yeah, let's see here. I don't like the whole RB heavy 0. Okay, yep. In my opinion, I go opposite of everyone in drafting heavy early. I go balanced. Yeah, no, that's actually the preferred thing. LBC, you have to go balanced. I think as of right now, the only reason you would ever go, like I've always mentioned it, like, you never want to tunnel in on a specific strategy. You always want to go with, hey, okay, what makes my team better? Now, if making your team better is going double wide receiver early, sure. But to be honest, like, you should balance your team. Like, if your first pick ends up being, if you're number 1 overall, yeah, and you have Saquon Barkley your first pick, by the time it comes all the way back, right, if you don't take a wide receiver there, you're going to have a terrible team because you have to wait another 24 picks for it to come back. So you have to make sure your team is balanced so that you're never just having to scrap off of the waiver wire because eventually those guys are going to start hitting bye weeks, they're going to start getting injured, and then your team will fall apart. So yeah, balance is always the best way to go. Can Dak be a sleeper? In 100%. Listen, before being a Rams fan, okay, before the Rams came back to Los Angeles, I was 100% a Cowboys fan. Now, I know a lot of people hate me for saying that, but Dak, in the last 3 seasons, in 4 point per passing touchdown standard leagues, He has been a top 12 quarterback every single season. Nobody regards him as such, but on a consistent basis, the dude is scoring 28 touchdowns a season. 6 on average rushing, and then 22, 23, 24 passing. Now, you add Amari Cooper to this offense, you bring in Randall Cobb, you get back Jason Witten. The offensive line is, assured a little bit more. Zeke is being used in the passing game. I don't see why Dak can't be a sleeper. 100% I don't see why he can't be a sleeper. So I like Dak this season, but inherently in like a 6-point per passing touchdown league, a little bit less value because the rushing stats that he additionally gets that helps him in 4-point is kind of wavers off because there's players like there are a lot of players actually like Kirk Cousins that are going to throw 30 touchdowns and a bunch of yards or a lot more yards than Dak, and that's just going to kind of inflate their value more. Let's see. You may have talked me into taking Kelsey early second since those extra 2 picks in the third. I go with Aaron Jones. Listen, I talk people. Oh, look who it is, dude. Hold up, give me a second. My boy Paulie, dude. Okay, what were you saying? Let's see, Fugazi. Here's the thing. I don't want you to be talked into taking Kelsey early, but to be honest, it's a possibility. He played well last season. So if, it comes to your pick and he's the best available, go for it. Here's the thing. Kelsey's never going to be as valuable as like a top 5 wide receiver. If he ends up doing that, then he must have had a career season, 15 touchdowns, something like that, right? But as of right now, looking at him, like if you draft him, you're just ensuring the fact that you never have to worry about. I'm laughing at Paul's fucking message. You're ensuring the fact that you never have to worry about replacing a tight end on a weekly basis. That's the only really exciting part about taking a Kelsey early. All right, who are you taking in the first round? Paul, I have no idea who you're going to take in the first round. I'm actually wondering, who you're going to take in the first round? You're going to take Baker Mayfield, and you're going to actually beat us all. Okay? So in my home league, a buddy of mine, one of my best friends, every season drafts the most random teams I've ever seen. Some of the most unconventional teams I've ever seen. 2 years ago in 2017, he took Carson Wentz in the first. Last season, he got Patrick Mahomes in like the fourth. The dude just torched everyone. And that's why I'm waiting. You're saying who you're going to take in the first? You're probably going to take Baker and you're going to torch us all again. All right, let's see here. What pair of quarterbacks do you like in Superflex? All right, Superflex. If you haven't seen LBC, if you haven't seen my 2QB video, go check it out. There's timestamps below for different mock drafts that I did. Specifically, it depends on when you want to take a quarterback. If you want to go early and take like a Mahomes or a Luck in the first couple rounds, you can wait a while and pair them up with like a Winston, Wentz, Phillip Rivers. Or you can wait on quarterbacks, grab a guy like Jared Goff, and then tag him along with who's another mid-tier quarterback that's decent, like a Cam. Cam Newton's kind of fallen as of late, like a Cam Newton. Or you can just wait forever, literally just wait 10 years. Draft a guy like Lamar Jackson, draft a guy like Tom Brady, and roll with it. But to be honest, I personally prefer getting a quarterback by the 3rd round and then grabbing another quarterback by the 6th. So this season, I'm going to really be looking for Matt Ryan in the 3rd and then try to follow it with another top 12 quarterback in the 6th round. Who's another guy in the top 12 that I really like? Because Baker will be gone. Russell Wilson will be gone. Drew Brees will be gone. Maybe I lock him up with like a Winston or a Wentz specifically. But that's what I like. I like to take at least by the 3rd round. I want to have my QB1. But either way, go watch that video if you haven't. Thanks, bro. Yeah, no problem, Cowboy. I mean, listen, you're a Cowboy fan. You know that Dak is a sleeper. You know it. We all know it. I mean, listen, we watch this dude tear it up every week. Some weeks, it's not so great. But, hey, that's what happens. But the fact of the matter is he takes so many goal line carries away from Zeke because they see Zeke there. They're 5 yards in. They're going to stack the box. They're going to blitz. Dak keeps the ball. He scores. Thanks for answering, man. Great channel. 8-man PPR league. first pick Barkley or C. McC? Is it PPR league? Yeah. Okay. Then do I follow with the running back? Running back. Okay. Okay. So specifically, listen, if you have the first overall pick, I personally would rather. I know it's full PPR, right? So the difference between a Saquon and a Christian McCaffrey are pretty close. What am I doing here? Gosh, man. I'm trying to open up extra links. I want to see actually how many points away they were from each other in full PPR last season. But off the top of my head, I'd rather go Saquon. I think... I don't know, man. Eli Manning in that offense kind of scares me a tad bit, but where am I going, man? I'm trying to open up links while I look at questions, and it's just not working. Where's the total points? I actually went to the right link, and then I closed it. I feel like Barkley going to be keyed on. No, he is. He 100% is. They're going to stack the box and try to murk Saquon Barkley. All right, so looking at what they... Oh, my God. They had identical numbers last season in 17 weeks. The difference between McCaffrey... Oh, no, I don't think this thing counts passing touchdowns. I think McCaffrey maybe was number one in full-point PPR last season, wasn't he? And in Week 16, he didn't even play. So, to be honest, I personally would rather have Saquon just for safety's sake. But to be honest, McCaffrey is so close. Even in half-point PPR, McCaffrey is my number 2 running back. So, I don't think there's a wrong answer there. But, damn, McCaffrey looks fucking good. Especially considering he's just going to continue to see a bunch of targets. The crazy thing was Saquon saw so many targets and had so many receptions last year. The question is whether that's going to continue. To be honest, it's close. It's really close. But I'm on the Saquon train. I'm on his quads are too big. He's going to run everybody over train. And especially considering they improved their offensive line significantly this offseason. They brought in Kevin Zeitler. I think they either changed their center or their right tackle. But they're definitely going to have a better offensive line. Even if they key in on them, teams still have to respect the passing game. I understand Eli's garbage, and whether it's the Jones kid, they'll still figure it out. All right, let's see here. I think I will stream defense 100% and kickers this year. That you have to. I will make a video on it. I'm telling you, streaming defenses. I don't even want to draft kicker or defense in my drafts. Just wait until perhaps in the preseason somebody gets injured. You have the handcuff just sitting there. But worst case scenario, you don't draft any defense or kicker. You stream them every week depending on matchups, and you're perfect because that's literally what I do every week. But what were you saying? Don't want to draft the Bears. Do not draft the Bears in the 7th. Do not draft the defense. Do not draft the defense. Sleepers would be the Chiefs this year. No. The Chiefs, they were awful last season. Dude, they got torched. They got torched last season. They were not a good defense. Not even a little bit. All right. Big Jim Gene still sitting here since the beginning of the damn stream. So in 2 QB, I'll have Mahomes. Who do you think is QB? Start him with alongside until... I was thinking waiting until Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, or Josh Allen. Those are not bad options. Considering they all have the ability to run the ball, that helps. But in 2 QB leagues, typically it's 6 points per passing touchdown. How many touchdowns is Lamar Jackson going to throw? Probably not too much. So his value is going to come from the rushing game. Can he stay healthy? That's one question. Kyler Murray. How do we know he's going to be like an actual dependable quarterback in the NFL? We've seen him at Oklahoma play against shitty defenses and have some blown out stats. His statistics from college, they're completely just, you can't even regard them because they're too much, right? He just torched shitty defenses on a weekly basis with Marquise Brown. They just threw it over the top and just racked. And then Josh Allen. I don't know what that offense looks like. I don't know if he's going to be... I mean, listen, you have to play the Patriots twice. He's going to struggle against them twice a year. That's a given. But throughout the rest of the season, can that offense with not too many great weapons figure it out? Maybe. Personally, I'd rather have one of those 3 guys as my number 3 quarterback, and then if they end up popping off, put him in or trade them. I'd rather have a guy that is being undervalued as my number 2 quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers. Easily will both probably throw 30 touchdowns this season. That's what I'd prefer as my QB2, but it just depends on value. I understand waiting for a QB, but I'm just a little worried on that. have Josh Allen on the bench. Yeah, I don't mind have Josh Allen on the bench, but number 2 quarterback is Jackson or Murray. That hurts a little bit. But hey, no, it definitely pan out. It absolutely could pan out. Does McCaffrey have a backup RB worth worrying about? No. Listen, if he gets hurt, sure, now you're going to have to worry about. But there's nobody coming to take touches or anything, no. I understand they drafted somebody, but there's a reason why. They had CJ Anderson at the beginning of last season. And after 5 weeks, they're like, CJ Anderson, you're gone. You're worthless because Christian McCaffrey can do everything. He's great in the running game. He's great up the middle, goal line work, passing game, and he's sustainable. He's not going to, get hit too hard. He's smart when carrying the ball. He runs out of bounds. He doesn't take extra hits. So, I don't think there's anybody to worry about, obviously. Aaron asks, honestly, slept on channel for fantasy. Thank you very much, Aaron. Much appreciated. Thank you for the kind words. All right. The Chiefs were on place 4 in Standard League last year. Got many points against, put many picks. The Chiefs? Wait, okay. I'm opening up another link. Let's see here. You're telling me that the Chiefs were a good defense in fantasy last year? No way, dude. They got scorched, didn't they? All right, I'm looking at Kansas City Chiefs. They were the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 7th best defense. That's already a surprise to me because they were getting scorched defensively. But I guess not as bad as I thought. So, hey, you know what? You might have a point there. Kansas City Chiefs could figure it out defensively. That's it. You never know. Personally, let me look at these other defenses. What's another sleeper defense? Dude, if New Orleans doesn't start off like garbage, they could figure it out. But honestly, I don't even care enough about defenses because I stream them on a weekly basis. So, moving on. Will Daniel Jones start more games than Eli this season? That's a good question. That's an over/under question, Richard. Will he start more games than Eli this season? I'm going to say no. You know what's going to happen? Eli's going to come out and win a couple games. Like, they're going to go 2-2 to start the season. And then people are going to think, wow, the Giants could actually figure it out. They won a division game against blah, blah, whatever, right? They'll somehow, I don't know. And then by the end of the season, maybe the last 6 games, when the season's already fallen apart, then they'll put him in. Which kind of scares me for Saquon value, especially at the back end of the season when it's the fantasy playoff time, and then you have Daniel Jones in. Then you can 100% stack the box and then force that kid to throw, and which begins to kind of worry. Let's see here. But no, hey, let's see here. Good stat on the Chiefs. I didn't know they were that good on defense last season, especially fantasy-wise. I don't like McCaffrey simply because Cam is going to steal goal line TDs. Same thing with Dak Prescott. Go look at Dak Prescott stats from goal line TDs. He's stolen 6 each of the last 3 seasons from Ezekiel Elliott. So they're both literally in the same spot. So if we consider both of those guys getting jacked on the goal line, who doesn't get jacked? Alvin Kamara. So if you want steady touchdowns on the goal line, that's Alvin Kamara. The dude will score 15 plus touchdowns this season. So let's see here. Thoughts on 4 or 5 round running backs? 4th or 5th round running backs such as Kerryon Johnson. Okay. Zach Reynolds. If you haven't seen my latest video on Kerryon Johnson, the thumbnail is literally Kerryon Johnson with some smoke behind him because he's bringing the smoke this season. Go check that out. My thoughts on Kerryon Johnson and Aaron Jones are both involved in that video, and Dalvin Cook, in fact. But specifically on those guys, there's no way that Damian Williams. Thoughts on 4? Yeah, Damian Williams is not going in the 4th or 5th round. He's going in the 2nd or 3rd easily. On top of that, Marlon Mack I expect to go near the 3rd, and then Kerryon Johnson and Aaron Jones near the 4th. Maybe Aaron Jones at the same time or same round as Marlon Mack. But specifically, I think it just depends on what you stack up on your roster. If you go wide receiver early, sure, you can go for these guys. You can get 2, 3 of these guys, to be honest, in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. But 4th or 5th round running backs, from what I've seen ADP-wise, Kerryon Johnson in the 4th, like a guy like Philip Lindsay or Chris Carson in the 5th, those are great steals as of right now. Sad Jay Cutler. Trubisky should be a good late round value this year, I believe. What's your thoughts on him on the Bears? Matt Nagy, second year growing system. Here's the issue. Trubisky last season was pretty decent, but there were games in which he didn't score passing touchdowns. A lot of his fantasy value came from rushing the ball, which is good, right? Especially considering we didn't really expect much of that to come out of that offense last season. He's decent when running the ball, but we can't have a quarterback on a weekly basis scoring 0 touchdowns. That doesn't work for fantasy. And when we look at his averages last season, it's a little bit inflated because he had one game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in which he threw 6 touchdowns. So if you wipe that game away, which we technically can't because it happened, but when we wipe that away, Trubisky does not look as good as a quarterback as he actually is. There's 6 touchdowns there against one shitty defense that kind of blew open the doors for him last season. So, and that's 50 plus fantasy points, so that's a little bit thing. But in a Nagy offense, I think obviously he's going to improve. Whether Allen Robinson stays healthy and guys like Anthony, what's his name? What's the number 2? Anthony Miller, Taylor Gabriel. That's not a good wide receiver core. That doesn't help. A lot of this team is dictated on running the ball and then playing good defense. So Trubisky's kind of a lower end quarterback in my opinion, but he could improve. He should improve this season. Browns defense is going to be great this year. Only time will tell. What's your number 1 favorite source for fantasy stats, etc.? I'll link it in the chat. Give me a sec. Let's see here. Where is... All right. That is my favorite site when it comes to stats in general. Fantasy stats, I just go and look at like how much they put up on other websites like Fantasy Point, but that also has fantasy points if you go to specific players breakdown. But Pro Football Reference has, like, honestly to the T, the best statistical breakdowns of everything, like on how many red zone carries they got, how many red zone passing attempts, how many attempts they had from this hash, away, home, different splits like that, game logs. So specifically, that's where I go for a majority of my stats for different players. Let me see here. Where did I go? Did I get lost? Third standard, Cooks or David Montgomery. Brandon Cooks. Okay, so you're playing in a standard league. It's not PPR, so David Montgomery or Brandon Cooks. I'd probably take Montgomery. Robinson. Let's see here. LBC says added point per third down stops and 2 points per fourth down stops made watching D more exciting. Wow, you're putting a lot of emphasis in that defense. So look, if defense, wow, interesting. Who's actually tallying that? What website actually allows you to put those kind of metrics down? LBC, I'm actually curious on which websites, because there's no way that Yahoo does that or ESPN. If they do it, then I'm actually interested in kind of looking at what kind of metrics you can add defensively. That's pretty cool. All right, let's see here. I was supposed to end the stream 40 minutes ago, and I didn't. So we'll see where this goes. Hey, he's starting a Dynasty League on ESPN, former first-timer. What do you think about the rookie draft for next year? They go on my bench. What? Let me see here. Starting a Dynasty League on ESPN format, first-timer. What do you think of the rookie draft for next year? Like literally 2020 rookie draft? I have no clue. I don't even know who's declared yet. So, to be honest, Danny, I have no clue. All I know is that the Alabama quarterbacks can come out next year, and so is the Auburn quarterback. So those two will definitely have much interest depending on where they land, obviously. But running back-wise, I don't know who's going to declare, or even wide receiver. Let's see here. What are you saying? Should do this more often. Great advice. Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. Yeah, I would do this more often, but I've been talking for 3 hours, and my voice is literally going to be broken for the rest of the day. Let's see here. LBC interesting. PPR. Okay, you're answering his stuff. No problem. Put that. No problem. Sad J Cutler. 16 team PPR, 16th pick. I got DJ in the second round. Got DJ. Second round, Stephon Diggs. I'm torn between another wide receiver or running back in the third round. Just depends what's available. I'm assuming you're playing in a slow draft, like one of those email drafts where each team gets 8 hours to pick. If that's the case, then yeah, you got some time. But those are two pretty solid picks for a 16-team league. That's pretty good. I think specifically it just depends, because your next pick, depending on whether it's going to go away from you for a couple days and come back, It just depends. But honestly, it's a full PPR, so don't be afraid of taking another wide receiver. It just depends what's available, obviously. By the way, 0.3 points per completions will go around 60 to 70 or 60 to 90 points for a whole season. So it's the same as the receiving RB will get. Wait, are you talking about Sudor Gaming? Are you talking about quarterbacks getting more points per completion? Dude, don't do that. Don't do that. They already scored too many points. If you want to add extra points, just give them 2 extra points per passing touchdown. Make interceptions -2. So just make it a 6 point per passing touchdown. Like, don't give them extra points per completion because that's, 90 extra points, that's a lot. Now, if you're talking about like Patrick Mahomes, he threw 50 touchdowns last season, right? So he get an extra 100 points for passing touchdown. Great. So it's literally almost the identical same thing. But I think those, following touchdowns rather than hoping people complete passes, that's, I don't know. But hey, to each their own. It works. Yahoo has that. Interesting, LBC. I got to look into that. That's actually interesting. Let's see here. Would you draft Travis Kelce over a tier 2 wide receiver? 100%. Well, actually, what's a tier 2 wide receiver? Because tier 1 is Hopkins and Devontae Adams. Then tier 2 is like Julio, Michael Thomas, and then like Odell in my eyes, and then maybe Juju. So would I take him over one of those guys? I personally don't want to, but I'd consider it. If I'm telling you, if Tyreek Hill misses time, I'd consider it, Aaron. But honestly, I think I'd rather have a guy like Michael Thomas or Julio over Travis Kelce. But then again, they're really close in value. If I'm telling you, if Tyreek Hill misses time, then Travis Kelce sure as hell can be in that conversation. Third standard, Dalvin Cook or David Montgomery. Major sell. My bad. Dalvin Cook. I'd rather have Dalvin Cook. I understand. Listen, I understand his injury history has been concerning in years prior. But the fact of the matter is, if he stays healthy, he is a 3-down back. While on the other hand, David Montgomery is going to have to split snaps and not have any of the passing work because Tariq Cohen, completely dominates that. And on top of it, there's Mike Davis to worry about. So I'd probably go with Dalvin Cook, Robinson. All right, let's see here. I was saying for rookie draft for next year, do you think go on my bench in Dynasty League? What I was saying for rookie draft for next year, do they go on my bench for Dynasty League? Yes. They join your team. Now I understand, Danny. Thank you for the clarification. Yes, they join and they are on your bench. So next year, 2020, depending on which pick you have, doesn't matter. As soon as you select them, they're instantly on your bench. Now, the question is, because I know a lot of people have said in the past that your benches don't have many bench spots, so you might have to drop a player in order to add one. It depends on your league, so you probably want to ask your commissioner on that. But typically, they're added to your bench. If you have to drop a guy that doesn't have as much value, then sure. But yeah, typically they go straight to your bench as soon as you draft them. Last one, sorry man, for bothering you. Would you pair Damian Williams and Travis Kelce since Hill is suspension? Is in the first 2 picks, like a Damian Williams, Travis Kelce? That's really heavy on the Chiefs. But to be honest, I wouldn't mind. The only way I would pair the two is if I'm at the end of the first round. Because I don't think, if you're sitting at like the 12th pick, I don't know if you'll be able to draft them both if you're sitting anywhere else. So I would suggest maybe going and mocking it out at a couple different drafts, do a couple mock drafts, see how the rest of your squad looks comparatively. But it could be a decent strategy, Aaron. Let's see here. What is this? I don't understand why that would happen. Interesting. Okay. At the 3-hour mark, in 6 minutes, I'm going, people. In 6 minutes, at 4 o'clock, I'm gone. All right. So get your questions in, and if I don't answer your question, just comment down below, and I'll send you a message, and we'll see what's up. Okay. Get more info on it. Yeah, no problem, Danny. Tier 2, Juju, Adam, Adam Thielen. Yeah, no, Adam Thielen's not a tier 2. Listen, depends how you break down tiers, but Man, my throat fucking hurts. 3 hours of talking, people. Personally, I have Devontae Adams and DeAndre Hopkins in their own tier. Then outside of it, I have like 4 or 5 wide receivers in the second tier. And then I got like 6 in tier 3, which Adam Humphries could be in. Or not Adam Humphries, Adam Thielen. I like Juju more than Thielen specifically, though, this season as the number 1 for Pittsburgh. Mike Evans or Amari Cooper. Mike Evans, not even close, Patrick. It's not even close. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Danny. Alan asks, Zeke, McCaffrey, Saquon, or Kamara and PPR? It's really between Saquon and McCaffrey at this point. Somebody asked this earlier. It's a toss-up between the two. It really could end up being McCaffrey if, in fact, the defenses start keying in and just stack the box on Saquon and force Eli to have to throw the ball to win the game, which they did for majority of last season. But then Saquon got a little bit of an offensive line improvement this season, so that could definitely go a long way in helping him. But it's definitely between Saquon and McCaffrey. I probably, I don't know, man. In a full PPR, I might consider going McCaffrey. But Saquon for sure. There's no going wrong with any of these 4 guys. I just don't think Zeke is going to see as many receptions. Even though he had a lot of targets and receptions by the end of last season, his yardage wasn't there. Let's see, because it's obviously, I mean, he's a bigger guy. He's not as fast as these other guys. He's not going to be able to make as many cuts. So by the time he catches the ball, he's only got a couple of yards until somebody swarms in on him. Let's see. Do you like stacking Big Ben, Juju, Rodgers, Adams? I don't mind stacking. I prefer it in DFS, like daily fantasy leagues on the weekends. I prefer stacking there. But in regular leagues, I don't mind it. As long as you're not stacking 4 players on one team. Like, as long as your team doesn't have, to be honest, imagine stacking like Mahomes, Kelsey, Damian Williams, and Tyreek Hill. You could have a decent team there, right? Or you could have, like, let's say Goff, Gurley, Cooks, and Woods. Somehow you manage to get that team. I don't prefer doing that. I don't like stacking that way, like with 4 people, but I don't mind a 2-player stack, a quarterback and a receiver, especially his number 1 receiver. I think that's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. So I don't mind doing that. Let's see here. Our league switched to half-point PPR. Get your questions in. I only got a couple more minutes left here. We got rid of kickers and defenses. We have 1 flex spot, 1 spot for QB. Yeah, super flex. How would you go about drafting with this setup? All right, cooking with Curry. Do me a favor. Go and watch my 2 QB Superflex draft strategies. I posted it last week. Go to the channel, watch that video. It will give you different strategies on how to approach Superflex leagues such as that, on how, specific strategies are approached and how to kind of mitigate some of the early quarterback draft points and stuff like that. So go check that out. Otherwise, because it's really hard to kind of explain in a minute or less than a minute how to kind of approach that kind of a draft thing, especially because I'm about to sign off really soon. All right, you guys are throwing too many questions, so let's see here. I'm gonna make them really quick, but yeah, go check out that video. It's pretty informative in my opinion, but then again, I'm biased. Let's see here. 8-man league. I have the first pick. You said you prefer Barkley. I'll have back-to-back in the second round, Damian Williams and Juju, or pairing Williams with Kelsey. I don't think Kelsey will make it back to you, but there's always a chance. To be honest, I think Kelsey and Juju could be identical. It's just totally up to you. Preferably, I think a wide receiver 1 that's going to get 170 targets like Juju has more of an upside specifically. So I'd probably go Juju, but Travis Kelsey's not a bad pick there, Aaron. Let's see here. Redraft league. What's Barkley's trade value in your opinion? Thank you. In a redraft league, he's the number 1 overall player. So people would have to give you the entire house and the kitchen sink for you to give him up. So you have to bring me the trade. I can't really tell you his trade value. You just have to tell me, hey, would you trade him for X, Y, or Z? And I'll let you know. Saquon, easy choice, 90% of the offense. Zeke or Mixon are my keepers. That's fantastic. You trade with 2-3 for Kelsey. Wait, what's up? Are my keepers. Would you trade your second or third for Kelsey in a standard league? If you're not getting points per reception, what other value can you get? Because Zeke and Mixon are fantastic. So in the second and third round, is Kelce really worth it? I don't even know how points, like scoring formats go because I only play half PPR. So honestly, Kelce for a second or third, I wouldn't do it. I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, I don't think it's worth it because you could probably wait on, but this is your trading for him. So I don't know. That's a good question. To be honest, I don't know what his value is. So Robinson, I would say I'd rather just. It just depends. If he scored like last season, if he scored as much as wide receivers in standard league, then I'd consider it. But I don't know. I'm not honest. Drink a cold one. I live good. Yeah, thank you, Aaron. Much appreciated. Okay. Supposedly, research has known stacking improves winning odds. Really? I'd like to actually see that. Thanks, understand. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. All right, thanks, bro. All right, 3-hour mark has just hit. It's 4 o'clock. Thank you, everybody, for watching. For those of you who have stayed in this chat for the last 3 hours, much appreciated. I will keep you guys updated. Maybe we do this next Sunday. I need some throat lozenges. I need like ice cream or some shit, and I'm hungry. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Until next time, have a good one, and peace. Thanks, guys.